Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei Got the Powers of PlayStation PS5 Protagonist to Fight the Villains Part 2. Before we start, please go support Angel Gonzalez 753 for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some wrong he or she calling here because it's translated, so let me clear this. Issei is a male in this story. Dilemmas. We find ourselves in the Tokyo Tower where Gustav managed to defeat Gil Yubel, but at a great cost. Yubel. No, Gustav, please answer, she said desperately. At that moment, everyone in the mansion was transported with the help of Rias and their magic circle. Gustav. Damn you, get away from my son, said the woman running with tears. Issei. Please friend, please react, he said, starting to cry. Serena. Come on friend, wake up, she said, sadness. Everyone watched helplessly as the boy's life faded away, but their pain was interrupted by a voice. Albion. There is a chance that my carrier, but I need the authorization of his parents, said the dragon from the wings that appeared on the boy's back. Gustav. Whatever it takes, but save my son, said the man, upset. Albion. Thank you, but I need your help, Yubel, said the dragon, surprising everyone. Toa. Why does it have to be her? Said the angry woman. Albion. He was the one who saved him the first time, and with his help, I will turn him into a dragon, he said, surprising everyone. Issei, what a dragon, he said, coming out of astonishment. Greg. That's right, buddy, his heart was born with a disease, but with Yubel the disease will disappear, and Albion will strengthen his heart, said the red one, the gem appearing on Issei's arm. Yubel. I will do it, she said determinedly without caring about the looks of the rest. Albion. Well, place your hand on his chest and begin to emanate your energy, and I will begin the process from the inside, but from this moment on, as I will turn him into a dragon, his body will suffer alterations, but not instantly, understood, he said seriously, while the parents nodded. At that moment a light began to cover Gustav's body, and a few seconds later it disappeared, and only his body was seen. Yubel. Funcy couldn't continue because Gustav started coughing. Gustav. Cough cough cough, what happened, he said, tired and sore. Before he could continue he was attacked by all his girls. Diffa. Gustav, sniff, you're an idiot, sniff, said the brunette crying with the others. Gustav. Don't worry, I'm sorry, I was irresponsible, but I won't do it again, I promise, he said, standing up with the others. At that moment he approached Yubel and gave her a big hug, making her cry, and the others were confused. Gustav. Son, she was the cause of all this suffering, he said seriously looking at his son. Gustav. That was due to a misunderstanding, and we all deserve a second chance, and this was not your fault, but someone else's, he said looking at the sky. Toka. Gustav, what are you talking about? She said confused. Gustav. Wait, you'll see, he said as he approached Gil. After arriving with Gil, I take him to the others to see the sky again. Gustav. Hooded, show yourself. I know that in the first duel you made Yubel influence me. That would be cheating, just like we did in the fighting games. Now I want to be rewarded for that, he said seriously, surprising everyone. At that moment the hooded man appeared. Well played, young man, you discovered my little secret, but don't worry, I'll take care of it, he said raising his hand in front of Yubel. Albion. Dividing balance breaker, the voice resounded surrounding Gustav as he stood in front of Yubel. Gustav. Touch her and I swear I will kill you in the most cruel and merciless way you can imagine, he said with a demonic voice that made everyone shudder and made the girl blush deeply. Okay, but I will follow the rules, you and the boy will receive your reward from the last duel, he said as two girls appeared. Issei. Wow, I have the dark magician, he said looking at the girl in the card. Gustav. Yes, and I have Alexis Rhodes, he said looking at a blonde girl with a smile where he was thankful to be in the armor because his girls were beginning to emanate a murderous aura. You can keep Yubel, I don't need her anymore, he said, disappearing. Gustav. Then this is over, he said calmly as his armor disappeared. So with the help of Rias, everyone returned home with their 3 new guests. The children's parents also left, except for the Westcotts, who would stay the night at the house. The next morning. Winston. Well, young Gustav, could you tell me why you brought us all together? Said the man while the gamers were gathered with most of their prizes. Gustav. Well, I gathered you here to inform you that I will be leaving the team temporarily, he said calmly, while everyone was incredulous about the situation. Bill. Boo, but because if it were up to me I wouldn't hold a grudge against you, and neither would my girls, he said, trying to change the black-haired man's decision. Serena. And if we made you feel bad we apologize, but don't go, said the blonde sadly, while Issei and Toka nodded. Gustav. It's not that, I'll just go to England to settle some matters with my silly sister, and I'll come back, don't worry, he said while relieving the others. Winston. Okay, you'll have plenty of time for that, he said calmly as the boy nodded. After that the boy left with his Pokemon girls and parents. Already on the plane. Gustav. I must become stronger if what Albion told me is that Rizovim is up to something bad. A new problem. 2 weeks had passed since what happened with Yubel. During those days things were very calm with the exception that Gustav and his harem and Pokemon were not there. Gamer Mansion. The gamer challenges were enjoying the days off after what happened and were now gathered in the living room as they received a strange message from Gustav. Issei. Okay guys, let's look at the message to see how it is, he said while opening the message on the computer. Message. Hey guys, I'm sorry it took me so long to get in touch, but the matters I had to attend to got more complicated than expected, but it doesn't matter. The reason for the message is that I want to say, with the help of Riaz, to call a faction meeting in 2 days. It's urgent. Gustav. Bill. That's weird, why would he want to bring the factions together, he said curiously. Serena. Surely you have already made your decision regarding joining a faction, she said a little thoughtfully. Thoka. Maybe, but wouldn't it be easier to tell Riaz to contact the faction she chose instead of summoning all the factions, she said doubtfully. Issei. Well, I don't know what the reason is, but I'll go see Riaz to do what she asked me to do, he said, leaving the house to go to the Kuoh Academy. 2 days later. The faction leaders along with the Gremory and Citri clans as well as the gamers with their respective harems, the men were gathered waiting for Gustav. Talk. Issei. Go ahead, said the brown-haired boy calmly. At that moment the door opened revealing all of Gustav's girls, but without Gustav. Thoka. Girls, hello, where is Gustav? The purple-haired girl spoke curiously. Toa. I don't know, 2 days ago he sent us a message telling us to return to Kuoh, the white-haired girl said surprised. Issei. Wait, how am I sending you a message that I wasn't with you, he said confused. Yubel. No, a week ago he left us at his parents' house and told us he was going to do some business, said the spirit of morning, leaving everyone confused. Calm down, I'm here, said a voice that made everyone look at the door, finding a very handsome blue-haired boy who made most of the girls present blush, including the Olympic goddesses, the Yokai leader, and members of both clans. Surzich. Excuse me, but who are you? He said with doubts but on alert for anything. Gustav. I'm Gustav, he said with a smile to everyone's surprise. Oh, Gustav what? Cynthia. Gustav, what happened to you? Said the Sinnoh champion, coming out of shock. Albion. I explained this, you see, remember that I told you that Gustav would have several changes when he transformed into a dragon, and that was what happened, he said, as if nothing happened. Issei. Like that was what happened, you said slight changes, not that there would be a complete change, said the hysterical brown-haired boy. Gustav. Issei, calm down, this doesn't matter to me anymore, you girls, said the now blue-haired man, while his girls shook their heads. Serena. Well, we just have to explain it to Winston, but why did you ask for this meeting? Said the blonde without taking her eyes off the blue-haired man. Gustav. Well, you see, thanks to Albion, I investigated several things regarding the factions, and in one of those investigations, I found that a few days ago there was an attack in the underworld during a meeting between high-class demons, but you don't know how the Chaos Brigade found out about the meeting, right? He said calmly, looking at the leaders. Michael. That's correct, but that surprised the factions since they left a note explaining that they will not stop their attacks, he said seriously. Gustav. I see, but since this is a problem with the supernatural, you don't say anything, right? He said as if nothing had happened. Anubis. That's right, we don't want to involve humans with this problem, he said a little seriously. Gustav. I see, but you can ask us for help because you don't do it, he said curiously. Azazel. That's easy, you must be alert for any threat from space, he said while taking a sip of wine. Gustav. It sounds logical, but well, the truth is that I want to help and I will do it with this, he said with a slightly sinister smile. At that moment he disappeared from everyone's sight only for a scream to catch everyone's attention. Momo. Ah. The girl from the Citri clan looked on in terror as her companion Saji was pierced by a Kai sword. Sona. What the hell are you doing? She said angrily and about to attack along with her entire entourage. Gustav. Come on, Vitrabearer, since when do you work for the Chaos Brigade, he said seriously and with a cold look, well, what he said left everyone in shock. Seraphil. What are you talking about? She said coming out of shock but still surprised. Gustav. Easy, a week ago I went to train since Albion told me that Rizovim is planning terrible things, but during my training, I met a member of the Chaos Hercules Brigade, to be exact after a fight where I was able to defeat him. I managed to get information from him where he told me that there was an infiltrator in the factions, and it was none other than the bearer of Vitra, he said seriously. Throwing Saji to the floor and stepping on his head. Sona. That's true, Saji, she said angrily. Saji. Yes, it's true, I got tired of the life of a pawn, so I met Kuoh, who took me to Mr. Rizavum, and he promised me a life of wealth and to have all the women I wanted, including the boar of Leviathan, he said with a deranged voice, while surprising everyone and causing pain in some girls of the Citri clan. Gustav. Thank you for confessing, now die, he said while charging a Kai ball. Saji. No please, I didn't continue because the Kai ball hit him, disintegrating him. At that moment some pawn pieces flew toward Sona, but Vitra's sacred gear turned into a violet sphere and entered Gil's body. Gil. What was that, he said confused. Gustav. It seems that Vitra chose you as its new bearer, he said calmly. Gil. Oh, I see, then I have to choose whether to join the Citri clan or marry Miss Sona, he said curiously, while the aforementioned blushed heavily. Gustav. I don't know, he said doubtfully. But before continuing to speak, the devices with screens turned on, showing the hooded man. Tic-tac, the time for the new battle has arrived, see you soon, he said, cutting the transmission. Bill. Miss Sona, we will see this matter later, he said while running away with his companions, and the brunette nodded. Leaders. Good luck. Gustav. Look at the screen, it shows an image of the battle, he said looking at his cell phone. Issei. This is a mansion, but what, he said seeing what game it is about. Bill. Rainbow Six. It's time to be a special agent. We see the gamers running through the halls of the Kuoh Academy, since outside it, there was a helicopter waiting to take them to the battle zone. Winston. Well, they're here, wait, who's the blue-haired one? He said when he saw Gustav's new look for the first time. Gustav. I'm Gustav. I'll explain what's going on later, but now we have to go, he said quickly as he got on the plane with the others. Toka. Where is the place, she said looking at Winston. Winston. Downtown Tokyo is where the mansion that was seen on screen is, he said seriously as they headed to the place. Location Tokyo. The helicopter landed in front of the mansion where, a little further away from the area, there was a large crowd with banners supporting the boys while cheering them on. Reporter. We are in the center of Tokyo where the next battle will take place, and we can see a large crowd that has come to show their support for the boys, and on behalf of yours truly I wish you guys luck, said the woman, and then a loud shout from the crowd can be heard. So the boys got out of the helicopter, surprising everyone when it was said that the blue-haired man was Gustav, but they didn't have time to explain because they quickly went to an area called character selection, and when the hooded man entered, he caught everyone's attention. I see that you are ready for this game, select the mode where you must deactivate the bombs with a seed axe, you will have to win 3 out of 5, choose well, I wish you luck, he said, disappearing. Issei. Perfect guys, in this mode we won't have to hold back from using characters with bombs like in the case of saving the hostage, he said with a smile, while the others nodded. Gustav. Well, let's choose our characters, he said seriously. First round attack. Serena. Well, we start attacking because I choose Twitch, she said with a smile, while a suit covered her. Bill. It's a good start, I'll take Blackbeard, he said confidently. Gustav. I choose the Fuse, he said enthusiastically. Issei. Then I take the Termite, he said smiling. Toka. Well, I'll be Hibana, she said very calmly. After everyone chose their character, they were transported to an area of the mansion map and began to move a kind of scanners. Issei. Okay guys, we have to locate the bombs. Remember, let's divide 2 to the second floor, 2 to the first floor and 1 to the basement, said the brown-haired boy taking the lead. Gustav. Okay Toka, let's go to the second one, he said, starting to raise his scanner. Toka. Understood, she said while continuing to scan the other. Bill. I'm going to the basement, Issei, go with Serena to investigate on the first floor, he said with confidence. Serena. Issei understood. Gustav. Hey guys, stop searching, he said normally. Issei. Because, he said curiously. Aim voice, the attackers have located the 2 bombs. Issei. Let's go for it, he said with irony. Gustav. Yes, I found them. One is in a kind of library and the other is on the stairs. In addition, we are facing a castle that is still Frost and Valkyrie. What do you have? He said this one through his intercom. Toka. On the stairs there is a dock and on the first floor I managed to see Kavera, she said without flinching. Serena. Yes, I already found it, she said very ironically. Bill. Seriously, he said surprised. Serena. Yes, I found her just when she shot me and destroyed my scanner, she said a little depressed. Issei. Don't worry, the action phase starts soon, he said trying to cheer up his friend. Aim voice, defuse the bombs. Issei. And we begin, he said amused. Gustav. Let me start, you won't know what hit you, he said confidently. Issei. Well, go to the bomb that is in the library, we will go for the other one, Serena, use your Twitch to stop Kavera from walking, he said it would be, while everyone began to head to their positions, and Toka destroyed the cameras. Gustav. Deploying the hook, I'm heading to the second floor window. How are you doing? he said while climbing the wall. Issei. We are at the main entrance placing activated termite, he said, while the device was placed on one of the reinforced walls that began to ignite and then produced a large explosion. Serena. In twitch position deployed, she said, placing herself in a blind spot while releasing a slightly larger scanner. Issei. Okay, Toka, Gil, we're going in. Most likely, Doc and another one will take care of a bomb, and 2 others will take care of the one in the library. Watch your backs, Kavera, he said as they moved stealthily. Gustav. Here we go, cluster charge activated, he said, placing a small device in a window, activating it, causing 3 explosions that killed 2 enemies and left 1 very injured. Score. 5 vs 3. Gustav. Guys, I took down Castle and Valkyrie. Frost is most likely injured, but who has the C-Dax? He said curiously. Issei, Gustav said in a grim manner. Gustav. Yes, he said confused. Issei. You have it, he said hysterically. Gustav. Oh, I see, well, I'm going in, he said, lunging at the window. Here you are, he said, seeing Frost on the floor and shooting at him. Score. 5 vs 2. Gustav. Activating the C-Dax, he said, placing the device. Bane voice. C-Dax activated, must be deactivated or it will be lost. 20 seconds later. Bane voice. The defenders failed to deactivate the C-Dax, the attackers win. Issei. That's how it's done, we won the first one, we're missing 2, he said with enthusiasm. Second round, defend. Issei. It's time to protect the bombs like never before, they are ready, he said like a leader. Aimer. CE. Advances in history. Zeus, you must raise your young cosmos to be true knights. Issei, Gil, Gustav. Exclamation of Athena. Special Agents PT2NA, big surprise. Second round, defense. Issei. Well, now it's our turn to defend like never before, said the boy seriously. Aimers. Yes, they all said excitedly. Issei. Well, I choose Frost, he said seriously. Gustav. I take Capkin, he said with amusement. Toka. I choose Kavera, she said confidently. Bill. I take Echo, he said with a calm smile. Serena. Well, I'll take Mira, she said with encouragement. Protect the bombs. Issei. Well guys, we got the back room and the other one got the main room, he said, while everyone nodded. Bill. I'll place the drone by the front door, he said running. Issei. Well, we'll reinforce the walls so Serena can put her crystals in, he said seriously as he began to put up walls. Gustav. Outside 3 scanners. Issei, go to the main windows and place your traps, I will help with the walls, and now I will place my lasers, he said calmly, while Issei nodded and left the room. Serena. The last scanners are out. I'm going to put the glass in place, she said taking out some glass panels. Gustav. Perfect, hey Gil, how are you? He said over the intercom. Bill. Drone placed, I proceed to look at cameras, he said standing in a corner and taking out a type of cell phone, looking at the signal from different cameras. Gustav. Well, I'm going to place my lasers, he said moving from the point. Action phase begins. Bane voice. The attackers have not located the bombs. Bill. Guys, I can see that you are an Ash, a Blackbeard and Habana, wait, also a termite, he said, alerting his friends. Issei. Only one is missing, he didn't finish because it appeared that an opponent fell into the trap. Toka. Issei, leave it to me, I'll coerce him and I'll know the position of the rest, she said through her communicator. But or less so. Issei. All yours, he said with amusement. Toka. I have it, she said performing Kavera's ability showing the position of her rivals. Score. 5 vs 4. Bill. Perfect, we have 2 for the main one on the roof, and the other is Serena is meters away from you, be careful, he said upset over his intercom. Serena. Yes, this one I don't continue because the main entrance of the room exploded because of Habana. Score. 5 vs 3. Bill. Serena, what happened? He said confused. Serena. Ha 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 ha, it's just that Habana came in quickly and didn't notice Gustav's laser and it exploded, ha ha ha, the girl said with amusement. Bane voice. The attackers have lost the C-Dax. Gustav. Issei, place yourself in an angle where you can see the C-Dax as soon as they go to look for it, you'll finish them off, he said quickly. Issei. Okay, he said moving from his place. Bill. Well, Issei, they won't be long in arriving, he said while monitoring the cameras. Issei. Come on, he said pointing to the C-Dax. Marketer. 5 vs 2, 5 vs 1. Gustav. This is over, he said shooting the last one in the back. The defenders win. Pastry chef. This is incredible, the gamers already won their second round and are 1 away from winning the game, she said happily, while everyone was rejoicing. Just as everyone was celebrating, the stage distorted and a giant pillar emerged that lifted our gamers to a new arena. Issei. But what's happening, he said without understanding. It's time for a little change, said the hooded man mockingly. Bill. That's cheating, he said, annoyed along with the others. Silence, I am the one who makes the rules and I decide, he said seriously. Serena. Well then what happens now, she said nervously. Well, they remember their defeat in the underworld, so they will have to fight against these bad guys and an old acquaintance, he said with amusement. At that moment, 4 silhouettes very familiar to the boys appeared. A man with white hair and a strange tattoo on his chest. Bilirachi. A red-haired man in a fighting suit. Bust of Akuma. The great Shao Kahn. Issei. That bastard owes me. And finally a giant being with a strange armor. Issei Gilgustav. Onslaught. Dragon's Rise. Gamers were in a tough situation as they were faced with 4 of the most dangerous final bosses in fighting video games. I surprised you, right, but I haven't told you the best part, he said mockingly. Issei. And what is it, he said quite annoyed. They will only be able to use their abilities from this planet, they will not be able to use the ones they have already gained, nor will I give them the ones from the video games, hahaha, the hooded man mocked with superiority. Bill. That's cheating, damn it, he said furiously. Shut up or you do it my way or you lose another life, he said seriously. But the factions. Surzich. This is bad, they are humans, they won't be able to, he said, scared of the consequences. Anubis. He is a cheating husband, said the Egyptian with anger in his voice. Lycal. We must trust them since there is a possibility, said the Archangel seriously. Isaka. And what is that possibility, said the Yokai a little hopefully. Lycal it. Back to battle. Tic-tac, time is running out, what is your decision, he said a little impatiently. Gustav. We accept, he said dryly. Issei. But Gustav, he said worried. Gustav. We accept but with one condition, he said seriously. And what would that condition be, he said curiously. Gustav. Let the girls not be in this fight, he said seriously. Interesting, okay, I accept, he said, snapping his fingers as the girls disappeared and returned to where the helicopter was. Issei. Why did you do it? He said confused because he didn't understand the situation. Gustav. You'll see, just trust me, he said calmly while the two nodded. Good luck, you'll need it, he said as he disappeared and the rivals got into an attack stance. Gustav. He said that only our skills, not counting the ones he gave us, are true, he said smiling maliciously. Bill. Yes, but I still don't understand, he said nervously, just like Issei. Gustav. He didn't say anything about using our sacred gears, he said while summoning his wings. 030201, of Albion. Divine dividing balance breaker scale male, the white man's voice resounded as the armor covered the blue-haired man. At that moment the blue-haired man launched himself against Akuma with everything, with whom he began a brutal exchange of blows. Reporter. This is incredible, even with all the injustices against us, our kids are beginning to fight back. On stage. Greg. Issei, what are you waiting for? Let's activate the balance breaker, said the dragon seriously. Issei. But Drake, we have only practiced it once, he said a little nervous. Drake. It doesn't matter, the situation is critical, we must do it, said the dragon, a little angry at his partner's distrust of himself. Issei. You're right, Drake, you learn as you go, he said raising his fist while summoning the full gauntlet. Drake. Go ahead, Welsh Dragon Booster Gear Balance Breaker Scale Male, the red voice resounded loudly as he materialized the armor. So Issei launched himself without hesitation against Shao Kahn, seeking his stolen fight. Bill. Vi Vitra, can you hear me, he said nervously. Vitra. Of course, my friend, although I would have liked to meet you in a less worrying situation, said the Dragon King seriously. Bill. Me too, but he asked me if I could access a level like them, he said, sorry for not being as cool as his friends. Vitra. I doubt it right now, but if I turn your body into a dragon's maybe, but it would take a few seconds, said the dragon. Bill. Guys, do you think you can keep Irachi busy for a few seconds? He said looking at his friends. Gustav. I think so, but I have an idea, said the boy thoughtfully. Issei. I'm all ears, he said while continuing to connect punches against Shao. Gustav. This is half dimension. After saying that, everything around the blue-haired man began to distort as opponents fell to their knees. Issei. Haha, that technique is incredible, but we must not stop. Drake, you have something for me, he said enthusiastically. Drake. You may not wake up for a month, but there is a mode called Cardinal Crimson, he said, amused by his partner's attitude. Issei. You tempt me with great power in exchange for a week in bed. Let's do it, he said animatedly. Drake. Booster gear Cardinal Crimson mode activated, he said, while 2 large cannons appeared from the back of the armor. Issei. Now fire, he said, attacking the 3 with a powerful attack. Gustav. Gil, how much longer? He said with a little difficulty. Gil. Vitra, he said hurriedly. Vitra. Absorption line balance breaker scale male is ready, said the evil dragon, while a dark armor covered the Spaniard. Gil. I'm ready, he said, starting to hit Irachi. So the fight resumed. Video game bosses versus dragons. Seiya. You were right, Michael, they are not simple humans, they are carriers of the two celestial dragons and the Dragon King Vitra, he said enthusiastically while looking at the screen. The gamer mansion. All the girls in each harem were going crazy with excitement at the sight of their loves fighting in their armor. Back to battle. Gustav. This is over, he said, launching two bursts against Akuma, defeating him. Previous 3. Issei. Drag, let's end this dragon shooter, he said, launching a powerful attack that Shao couldn't stop. Previous 2. Onslaught. You will not win, he said, launching a powerful attack against the two. Issei. Gustav. Both dragons fell to the ground with their armor somewhat broken. Bill. Magna absorption, he said, throwing whips from his arms with which he choked and drained Irachi's energy. At that moment he began to whip the white-haired boy in different places until he stopped moving. Previous 1. Now Onslaught found himself in front of Gil, towards whom he lunged, enveloped in energy. But against all odds Gil threw his whips and held back Onslaught's attack. Bill. You won't do it, they both have done a lot, even one of them almost died trying to get back, this time I won't stay behind them, so you won't beat me with it, he said, connecting a blow to the tin that made it retreat. So Gil began to hit the fusion without holding back. Vitra. Even though I turned your body into that of a dragon, you haven't gotten used to it and you're reaching your limit, said the dragon, worried. Bill. That doesn't matter, I'll keep hitting him until my last breath, he said, increasing speed. At that moment Gil's armor disappeared as he fell to the ground unable to move. Onslaught. You gave a great battle, but it is time for the end, but it is time to die, he said, stretching out his hand. At that moment a powerful attack hit it, disintegrating it. Issei. Gustav. Don't touch our friend, they both said in unison as their armor disappeared and they fell to the ground exhausted. Bill. Issei. Gustav. We won. Equipment problems. Everything was silent, the boys achieved victory after an arduous battle using their sacred gears. Issei. That's it was amazing, he said, very tired. Gustav. And you can say that was a fight, he said less agitatedly. Bill. I don't know about you, but I won't be getting up for a while, he said happily. At that moment the three were teleported to the area where the girls and Winston are. Winston. Good job guys, you did well, he said calmly but with a big smile. All three. Thank you, they answered in unison. At that moment the hooded man appeared. Well played, gentlemen. I never imagined that you were supernatural beings, but it was just a small miscalculation. It won't happen again, he said as he disappeared. This is how the award lights appeared. The girls received two very tender little creatures that they recognized. Toka. How cute, I have Mario's bomb, she said looking at a small bomb that they were walking with. Serena. Look, I have little Sparkle, she said, looking at a little star. In front of the boys appeared three pretty girls each. In the gamer mansion. The girls in each harem. Not again. Back with the gamers. Issei. Wow, I never imagined having one of the prettiest girls in Mortal Kombat like Katana, one of the Rainbow Six agents, like Ik and Felicia, the Darkstalker's kitten, he said, looking at his new girls. Gustav. Tell me, I have Ella from Rainbow, Morgan from Darkstalkers, and Chun-Li, said the blue-haired man calmly. Bill. I have Ash from Rainbow, Mai from Koff and Lilith from Darkstalkers, he said calmly but still in pain. So everyone celebrated because despite the obstacles placed by the hooded man, the boys came out ahead. Unknown location. Wow, Miss Elizabeth really wants to be a test subject to be the bearer of Trihexa, said a very serious white-haired man. Elizabeth. Of course Rizavam, I only ask for one condition, said the serious girl. Rizavam? And what would it be? He asked curiously. Elizabeth. That I will have the privilege of killing the hacker Yuiku with my own hand, she said it would be with a look of hatred. Rizavam. Deal, he said smiling while shaking the girl's hand. Elizabeth. Very soon Gustav, you and all your pathetic friends will suffer for what you did to me, the girl thought with hatred. 2 weeks later. Gamer mansion. Things were going pretty well for the boys. There were no more attacks thanks to Seiya, who had gotten some phoenix tears that helped with the boys' recovery, and the new girls in each harem got used to their new companions, but Serena and Toka were behaving strangely, like depressed and sad. Talk talk. Issei. Yes, who is it? Hello Winston, what's wrong? Said the brown-haired boy when he saw the colonel in front of the door. Winston. Well, I received a call from Toka who wanted to talk about an important matter, he said calmly. Issei. Okay, come in, I'll go talk to him, he said entering the house. Several minutes later. All the gamers could be seen gathered in the room with Winston. Winston. Well, Miss Toka, why did you want to talk to me? He said, curious. Toka. Well, these last few days Serena and I have been talking, and we decided to leave the team, she said seriously but sadly. Winston. What did you say? He said in shock. Issei. You must be joking, he said, still shocked. Serena. It's not a joke, she said sadly. Bill. Why did they make that decision? He said without understanding the situation. Toka. Because we are completely useless. Sniff, you are the ones who have fought in most of the battles. Sniff, even Gustav almost died saving you. Sniff, and in this last battle, it could be seen. Sniff, that we are useless, that would only get in your way, said the purple-haired girl, while crying like the blonde. Issei. That's not true, you are a fundamental part of the team, you can't just leave it like that, said the brown-haired boy. Serena. Issei, please stop. Sniff, we couldn't face those things. Sniff, we don't have anything supernatural. Sniff, what if he does it again and you can't be there, what will happen, said the sad girl. Gustav. For us, video games have been our life and we always wanted them to be real, and now they are, and I know this is getting more difficult, but that doesn't mean that they are a hindrance, they simply need to rest, clear their minds. We've all had problems with a video game, a level gets complicated for us, or we get stuck in a part of the story and we just need a break to go back and try. That's what I want you to do, take some time to relax, but don't leave the team, and if the situation requires it, the three of us will give our lives to protect you, said the blue-haired man seriously but warmly. Serena. It's okay, I'll just go home for a few days, and I'll come back, she said, wiping her tears. Toka. If you're right, this is just a silly level that got complicated, she said more calmly. Winston. Well, you can have your rest, don't worry, said the man calmly. Location: Greece. Sanctuary of Athena. Athena. I ask what Gustav will do at this moment, said the goddess thoughtfully. It's been a while, Athena, said a strange voice. Athena. Who are you? She said, scared. I am Hades. Location: Olympus. Artemis. Father, the goddess screamed desperately and worried. Zeus. What's wrong, why are you screaming? Said the god, confused. Artemis. Father, Athena was kidnapped by the video game guy, she said sadly and shedding tears. Zeus. It's not possible. It's time to light up the cosmos. Location: Sanctuary of Athena, Greece. Zeus. How did it happen? Why is no one doing anything? Said the god, very upset. Poseidon. Brother, I know this is very bad, but calm down, the three gamers are coming, he said, trying to calm him down. Zeus. Please, how do you expect me to calm down if they kidnapped one of my daughters? Said the lightning bolt guy, extremely upset. Hades. Demon Zeus, you know very well that in this situation we can't do anything, only they can do it, said the king of the underworld, annoyed. At that moment Apollo arrived with the three boys. Gustav. Hello gods, we are already aware of the situation, so could you tell us where she was kidnapped, said the hacker Yuka respectfully and calmly. Poseidon. Yes, of course, follow me. Location: Buenos Aires, Argentina. Our good friend Serena was walking through a forest far from the city, resting after the recent events. Serena. These last few days have been quite relaxing, but I feel like something is missing in my life, she said, looking at the landscape while remembering the day she joined the gamers. Flashback. 1 year ago. Serena. Fine, I'll play with D. Virginia, said the girl playing Overwatch. At that time, his other companions selected their characters. Serena. How curious, they all seem to be talking, she said as she watched the microphone icon light up. At that moment a strange message from his colleagues appeared. WOLFHELLSING 753. DVASTIGMA20, join the conversation. That question confused the girl a little, but she decided to do it and connected her wireless headset. Serena. Hello, she said shyly. Hello DVASTIGMA20, how are you, said a girl's voice. Serena. Hi, I'm fine, and you, she said a little less shyly. Hi friend, you look calm, we just wanted to know more about you, said a boy's voice. Serena. Because they want to know more about me, she said a little confused. Well, it's funny that a person chooses D. Virginia and doesn't silence all of his teammates to avoid criticism for choosing such an op character, another boy said mockingly. Serena. Well, the truth is I don't care what they say, she's a character that I like and I don't care what they say, she said with a smile. Wow, you're like us who like games and their characters regardless of whether they're op or not, said the voice of the last boy of the four. Serena. Wow, really cool. By the way, my name is Serena, she said with a smile. Nice to meet you, Serena, I'm Toka, said the girl. I am Issei. I am Gil. I am Gustav, he said, introducing the whole group. In flashback. Serena. From that day my life changed forever, she said, nostalgia. But she was surprised because a strange glow caught her attention, causing her to approach and find a beautiful necklace with a very bright crystal. Serena. But how beautiful, what is it doing here? She said, taking the necklace. At that moment the necklace began to emanate an intense glow that covered her and then revealed her in a strange outfit. Serena. But what happened? Location: Sky. Gabriel. Hey brother, what's up, he said looking at his brother. Michael. The sacred gear moonshine has just awakened, he said surprised and leaving his sister in shock. Gabriel. The sacred gear that can only be awakened by the purest human, he said, coming out of shock. Michael, that's right. Back to Greece. Issei. But what is this? Said the brown-haired boy, amazed to see 3 golden boxes. Bill. It is more than clear that the next game is Saint Seiya, said the boy with his arms crossed. Gustav. I hope it's not the PS2 game of the Hades saga, because I broke several controllers pressing the buttons to resurrect the characters, said the Englishman mockingly. Zeus. Please tell me how you can save my daughter, he said worried. Issei. Of course, but you could move aside, it's time to turn on the cosmos, he said with a smile. At that moment the boys began to scream as the 3 boxes opened and fell apart while covering the boys. Issei. Wow, so I'm Leo's knight, he said with a big smile. Bill. I had to be the knight of Libra, he said looking at all his armor. Gustav. I got to be a Sagittarius, he said stretching the wings of his armor. Hades. Wow, that's great, said the god with a calm look. At that moment the hooded man appeared. Wow, they are fast, I hope they are as fast when the time comes for the battle. Well, they have to go to the Olympic underworld to rescue the goddess of good luck, he said happily. Issei. Well, now we know where to go, the question is how do we get there, he said curiously. Hades. It's more than obvious that I'm going like this, he said quite seriously. So the 4 of them set off for the underworld. Zeus. Good luck, gentlemen. Already in the underworld. Hades. Well, here we are, I guess I'll get this far, I don't want to get in the way, the god said sincerely. Issei. Well, when this is over, come for us, he said calmly. Hades done, he said simply as he left. So the boys headed to a large castle, or so it seemed, while in the human world the camera followed them waiting to start the battle. Upon entering they found 3 silhouettes that were quickly recognized by the boys. Gustav, Issei, Gil. The 3 judges of hell, they said in unison but quite seriously. Rhadamanthys. I hope you are ready because your death is near. The holy war. Rhadamanthys. Prepare to die, he said seriously. Hades. Kill them. At that moment the 3 of them launched the attack. Issei, nobody backs down. Gustav, Gil. He won't give up, they said excitedly, launching into the attack. Iako's Garuda's fin, he said launching his attack. Bill. Don't think so much, rising dragon, he said launching a powerful attack in the form of a dragon. Both attacks collided while being side by side. Minos. Cosmic puppet, said the griffin throwing some cosmos threads. Issei. Your damn technique won't do any good, lightning plasma, said the brown-haired boy, while an endless number of rays of light came out of his hand, destroying Minos's threads and brutally impacting him. Rhadamanthys. This place will be your grave, great caution, he said, performing his technique in a devastating way. Gustav. You don't scare me, atomic thunder, he said launching his technique with the same ferocity as Rhadamanthys. The fights looked pretty even with a slight advantage for the gamers. Issei. Let's end this with lightning bolt, he said launching a powerful discharge from his hand. Bill. It will be the end of Rosen's 100 dragons, he said releasing a large number of dragons. Gustav. It's over, he said taking out his bow and his golden arrow and throwing it. The 3 attacks combined into one that attacked and defeated the judges of the underworld. Issei. Great guys, I defeated them, I didn't continue because of an attack. Gamers. All 3 writhed in pain after receiving the attack. Hades. Poor naive children really think it would be so easy, said the king of the underworld with his armor and his sword unsheathed. Issei. I thought a god would be honorable and not attack in such a cowardly manner, he said standing up with the others with their broken armor. Hades. Kid, the important thing in this battle is to win, he said, throwing another slash with his sword that sent them to the ground. Gustav. Look at you, pretty face, you're making me angry, atomic thunder, he said launching his attack but was stopped by the hand of the god. Hades. Nice try, but it's not enough, he said throwing it with the force of his cosmos. Bill. Gustav said running towards his friend with Issei. So the boys regrouped and they looked seriously wounded. Hades. Give up and I will spare your lives, he said seriously. Gustav. That's what you want, right? He said seriously but with a smile. Issei. But we will not give up, he said the same as his friend. Bill. Because that's what a true gentleman does, he said enthusiastically. Gamers. So the cosmos is burning, they said, while releasing a gigantic amount of cosmos. At that moment the 3 of them began to shine, and then they were seen with more imposing armor without any damage. Hades. But how are they? They are the divine armor, but how, he said in shock. Issei. You don't understand, we know that to have them we need the blood of a god, but you don't know that it can also be done with the love and dreams of a special person, he said with a smile. Gustav. And we have the affection of people who love us and who love us, he said decisively. Bill. And we carry the dreams of an entire planet with its different races that long to have a happy life, he said seriously. Aimer. And that's why we will not lose, they said in unison, putting themselves in a strange position. Hades. They will not defeat me, he said, about to launch another attack. Issei Gustav. Athena's exclamation at that moment, launching a beastly attack. Hades quickly launched his attack, colliding, destroying everything in his path, and slowly Hades began to lose strength. Hades. But since I can't be defeated that way, he said furiously. Gustav. Goodbye Hades, it was a pleasure to beat you, he said, winning the clash of powers. After that there was a big explosion, and then we saw the god on the ground completely wounded and bleeding. Hades. Well, for the first time, I see the determination of inferior beings and their desire to get ahead. It surprises me to see the trust of different races in simple children to protect them, but you are up to the task. Congratulations, he said, closing his eyes and finally dying. Issei. We did it, he said amazed. Greg. Congratulations mate, that battle was incredible, he said from the booster gear. Albion. He's right, I'm surprised by his great determination, said the happy white man from the wings. Vitra. I think I speak for all three of us when I say that you are the best carriers we have ever had, he said sincerely. Bill. Thanks Vitra, said the happy boy. Gustav. The truth is that we have accepted the fact that we have to give our best to win, and so we will, he said happily. At that moment the hooded man appeared with Athena in his arms. Congratulations, they are really surprising, here you have your kidnapped and your rewards, he said while Gustav caught Athena, and 3 lights appeared where 6 women appeared. Issei. Well, I have Sheena from Ephiachus and Partita, he said, looking at the green-haired girl who had a flirtatious look and the other with a smile. Bill. I'm happy I have Integra and Yuzureha, he said looking at both ladies. Gustav. Well, I think I received too much. I have the goddess Eris and Pandora from the Lost Canvas, he said nervously because the two were looking at him seductively. Issei. Don't complain, and let's go. Hades from our world just arrived, said looking at a light outside Judecca. Before she could move, Athena woke up. Athena. What happened? She said confused. Gustav. Don't worry, Miss Athena, you were kidnapped by the hooded man and we came to rescue you, he said with a smile that made the purple-haired girl blush deeply. Athena thanks, she said, trying to hide her blush. Albion. Haha mate, you already have another female in your harem, the dragon thought with amusement. Issei. Let's go back home. Solutions. Colorado, USA. Aimer member Toka was tidying up her attic until she found a rather large trunk with a strange mark. Toka. What is this? I hadn't seen it before, she said touching the trunk, and it began to shine, and after that in front of her, there was a very strange sword. Toka. Daughter, what are you doing? For she didn't continue because she saw her daughter looking at the sword. Toka. Mama, what is this? She said in shock. Toka. The legitimate heir, she said in surprise. Toka. Mother, what are you talking about? She said as the sword rested in her hand and began to shine. Toka. It's an ancient legend, she said trying to get over her astonishment at seeing her daughter in a strange dress. Toka. Please explain, I don't understand anything you say, she said, looking in amazement at her new appearance. Toka. Come on, let's go to the living room, she said more calmly. Already in the room. Toka. Well, tell me, she said while watching Mario's Porobomb and Toadette and her Pokemon look at her strangely. Toka. You see, 1,500 years ago there is a story of a king who slowly lost his power and prestige as he was considered crazy because he said that beings like demons and angels as well as other fantasy creatures existed hidden among humans. Obviously, people did not believe him, but he became obsessed to the point that he delved into magic and sorcery, asking for help from priestesses who were experts in the subject, creating 10 very powerful magic weapons called angels for his protection. He said it would be while the girl became more confused. Toka. This is one of those weapons, she said while her mother nodded. Toka. That's right, the king gave them to 10 orphan girls who were named after spirits and trained them to master their power. Then, over time, the weapons were passed down from generation to generation in the family corresponding to the wars, but they only seemed like relics, so I didn't give it any importance, she said calmly, finishing the story. Toka. And what is that spirit and the weapon of our family, she said trying to fully understand the situation. Toka. It belonged to the first orphan that the king adopted, he loved her like a daughter and she was named Princess, and her weapon was Sandalphon, the sword that divides the heavens, she said calmly. Toka. Sandalphon, the sword that splits the heavens, interesting. While at the gamer mansion. The three boys were training since Issei and Gil had transformed their bodies into those of a dragon and had already changed their bodies, they just needed to get used to the power, but Issei and Gustav's bodies had more changes due to their Saiyan blood and the power of the cosmos, and Gil's changes were also affected by the cosmos. Issei. Well, we can rest, he said agitatedly after 6 hours of training. Gustav. I think it's best that we be ready for any emergency, he said, catching his breath. Gil. Yes, it does seem like a game of Left 4 Dead to you, he said, a little relaxed. Gustav. Issei, there you go, he said, entering the house. 3 hours later. Issei. That's how it's done, he said, celebrating his victory in FIFA. Gil. Not again, he said, frustrated for losing. Gustav. You lost, it's my turn, he said, taking control. Riaz. Issei, love, we're back, she said, entering with all the girls from each harem, in addition to the goddess Athena, Gabriel, Irina and Sona. Issei. Great, how it went, he said calmly. Riaz. Well, there are a lot of beautiful clothes in Kyoto, she said while everyone smiled with brand name bags. Issei. Well, although I can't believe that Sona has become Gil's fiancé and Athena Gustav's, he said mockingly. Gustav. Shut up, Issei, when the girls found out and almost killed us, he said, nervously remembering what happened. Gil. And you better shut up because they were going to kill you too when Irina and Gabriel confessed to you, he said, bothering the brown-haired boy. Gustav, in your face, he said mockingly. At that moment the television went static and then revealed the hooded figure. Greetings humans, this battle will be fun for me, but not so much for you. Well, what does it matter? Well, a confrontation will be between one faction and the others in the human world. Time is running out, he said amused. At that moment a magic circle appeared in Athena's ear and she fell to her knees and began to cry. Gustav. Athena, what's happening, he said, hugging the purple-haired girl. Athena. It's my dad. Sniff. A being that calls himself Zeus appeared and attacked him, expelling him along with the other Olympians, she said, trying to calm down. Issei. Zeus could be god of war, he said thoughtfully. Gustav. I don't know, but I will kill him. They will regret attacking my father-in-law, he said furiously. Issei. Calm down and stop acting so reckless, he said annoyed. Gil. He is right, fighting angrily will not let you do things right. Let's wait for Winston to find out what other games are attacking, he said calmly, and by magic the colonel appeared. Winston. I think there is no need to explain. Well, in Norway a strange castle appeared, a white-haired man with blue hair, he said, showing an image. Gamers. Virgil, they said shocked. Winston. Well, the second one is in some mountains that appeared on the side of Australia, and it is he said, showing a giant creature. Gamers. Malus, they said in disbelief. Issei. So it's a possible god of war, devil may cry and shadow of the Colossus, he said thoughtfully. Gil. Easy, I'm the most suitable to defeat Virgil. Gustav, you are the one to defeat Malus and Issei against Zeus, he said, getting ready to fight. Gustav. But I tried to reproach, but Issei spoke. Issei. I know you're upset, but it's not time to get carried away by our emotions, so go and kill the Colossus, he said decisively. Gustav. Okay, but Issei, go and kill that imposter, he said while leaving in a helicopter, while Gil left in another. Issei. I will, he said while Athena took him to Olympus. Already in Olympus. Issei could see some strange weapons that gave an idea of what the game was. Issei. So I'll be Kratos. Titanic battles. The three boys had arrived at their destination facing their opponents face to face. Norway. Gil looked at the white-haired man who remained motionless even with the gamer present. Vitra. Gil, don't let your guard down. You won't be able to use my power, but that doesn't stop me from helping you, said the dragon mentally speaking to the purple-haired man. Gil. Yes Vitra, thank you, he said calmly. Virgil. Let's start. Even if you're not Dante, I'll beat you, he said seriously while unsheathing his sword. At that moment a crimson sword fell in front of Gil along with some pistols. Gil. I'll show you what I can do, he said showing his sword. They quickly began a forceful clash of swords. Virgil. You're good, I admit it, but you won't beat me, he said, putting himself in a strange position and then launching a group of cuts at the boy. Without hesitation, Gil used one of the walls to run against it and dodge the attacks. Gil. Nice try, but I've already beaten the game more than 4 times, so we continue, he said, starting to corner the white-haired man. After several attacks, Gil managed to get Virgil to drop his sword and took advantage of the moment to take out his pistols and point them at Virgil. Gil. Give up, I don't want to kill you, he said seriously. Virgil. Because you like to show mercy to your opponents, something like that could mean your death, he said annoyed. Gil. You're wrong. I know very well that doing this would be a very serious mistake, but I would never take the life of my favorite video game character, he said calmly. Virgil was more than surprised, he never thought his rival would say things like that to him. Virgil. Haha, what a good joke, I know everyone prefers Dante, he said with disgust. Gil. Maybe you're right, but when I played all the Devil May Cry games, I liked your style and personality a lot more than Dante's, he said with a big smile. Virgil. I see that I judged you badly, well I give up, he said with a calm smile as he disappeared. After disappearing, Virgil's sword remained. Bill. I will take good care of her, he said, taking her. Mountains near Australia. Gustav looked with amazement at the Colossus, who did not take his gaze off him. Gustav, there was not that big in the game, he said with a drop of sweat. This is how the game began. Without hesitation, Gustav began to run, using some uneven ground to hide from the Colossus's attacks, and reached the back, beginning to climb until he reached its back. Gustav. Well, let's start, he said, stabbing his sword into his back. The Colossus began to writhe in pain after repeating his actions. Malus put his hand back and he jumped at her. Gustav. Come on, we're almost there, he said, now sticking the sword in his hand. After several attempts, Malus moved his hand to her shoulder and jumped onto her and climbed up to her head and gave 2 stabs to her head. Gustav. This is over, I know you weren't bad, and I know you just wanted to live in peace, I'm really sorry, he said, giving a final stab to his head, finishing his head. Olympus. Issei, already armed with Kratos' swords, approached with a firm step until he stood in front of Zeus. Zeus. Come on, a brat comes to confront me, it must be a joke, he said mockingly. Issei. You will regret your words, he said, lighting his swords. The two stared at each other for a few seconds and then began to run against each other, and without hesitation, Issei began to attack with his swords. Zeus tried to separate himself, and when he did, he attacked with his lightning bolts, but Issei used great agility to dodge with great speed and began to throw Cortez with fury. At one point Issei threw one of the swords and with the help of the chain held his neck, suffocating him. Issei. Say goodbye, Zeus, and by the way, this is for Gustav, he said, giving a tug and decapitating the god. Congratulations, you got a victory, he said, annoyed. At that moment the lights began to dim. With Issei, the swords were left as well as a black-haired girl with a latex dress. With Gil, he was left with his swords and a brunette girl in a ninja outfit. With Gustav appeared an incredible sword and a white-haired girl with violet eyes. At that moment the helicopters arrived for Gil and Gustav, while Issei waited to see Zeus's health status, and then Athena would take him to the house. 2 hours later. The 3 boys arrived at the house while their girls were waiting for them. Riaz. Good job guys, you were amazing, she said with a big smile. Sona. I didn't expect anything less from you, she said with a slight smile. Tifa. And their weapons look nice, she said calmly. Gustav. Thank you, Dai. I didn't continue because 3 strange energies appeared next to a magic circle from which 3 girls came out. Issei. Who are they and what do they want? He said seriously, showing the booster Greer, and the girls became alert. My name is Archerina Pendragon, said a blonde in a strange dress. I am Rainer, said a black-haired girl showing some fallen angel wings. And I am Kuroka, said a woman with a fairly developed body, but what stood out were her Nakoma features. Gustav. And what are you looking for here? He said seriously with his wings spread. Rainer, Kuroka, Archerina. We want to be their partners. Bretts with a nostalgic touch. Gamer Mansion. Riaz. You must be joking, 3 members of the Cows Brigade come here to say such a thing, said the annoyed Reed. Sona. She's right, what we should do is take them to the underworld prison, she said with disgust. At these words the girls lowered their heads. Gustav. Enough, let them talk. I know who they are. Albion told me, he said seriously, looking at the 3 of them seriously. Toa. But Gustav, she said confused. Gustav. Rainer, the fallen one who fell to save the life of her best friend by killing an angel. Kuroka, the Nekomata who killed her master to protect her sister, and Archerina, or better known as Arturia, the girl who was framed by her own sister for crimes she never committed, he said coldly, looking at the 3 girls. Riaz. But according to what they say, Kuroka killed his king out of treason, she said surprised. Kuroka. Betrayal is protecting your sister from becoming a hex toy, said the Nekomata, starting to cry. Arturia. I knew it was a bad idea to come, let's go, she said sadly and angry. Issei. Wait, why do you want to become our partners? He said doubtfully. Rainer. Well, seeing them as they were and how they always protected each other and seeing them made our chests feel warm, she said, blushing and in a shy way. Bill. And in the respective case that we accept, who would they stay with? He said curiously. Rainer. I like Gustav, she said nervously, looking away. Arturia. I love you, she said, looking at the purple-haired boy. Kuroka. Well, I like young Issei, she said shyly, blushing slightly at the redeed. Issei. I accept, he said calmly, bothering his girls. Bill. Me too, he said calmly, bothering Sona. Gustav. I do not oppose, but with one condition: you will be watched by the others and a suspicious attitude, and you will go to prison. We will talk to the leaders so that they do not do anything against you except, he said, looking at the girls who only nodded with tears of happiness. Rias. Okay, she said with gritted teeth like the rest. So everyone entered the house. 2 days later. The boys were happy because the girls would return and Kuroka was able to talk to her sister and they could finally be sisters again. Serena. Guys, we're here, said the girl happily. Issei. Hi, I'm glad to see you, he said, hugging them. Gustav. Hey, look who we have here, he said, giving them another hug. Bill. I want a hug too, he said, joining the five. Toka. Wow guys, what happened to you, she said, amazed like the blonde. Issei. You know, one day you're normal, the next you become a dragon, he said, as if nothing happened. Serena. Wow, it's amazing, but guys, I have a surprise for you. Let's go outside, she said, jumping with happiness. Already outside. Bill. Well, what's the surprise? He said curiously. Toka. Wait, I also have a surprise, she said nervously. Gustav. Okay, let's show them at the same time, he said excitedly. Toka. At 3 o'clock, yes, she said, looking at the blonde. Serena 1. Toka 2. Serena Toka 3. At that moment they both began to shine. After the glow, the girls could be seen wearing strange outfits. Gabriel. Impossible, Serena, you are the bearer of the purest sacred gear of all, he said in shock. Issei. You have sacred gears, he said amazed. Serena. That's right, mine is moonshine, she said happily. Toka. Mine, no, mine is a sacred weapon that belonged to an ancient kingdom, she said very happily. Issei. I see, I'm glad, but how did they get them? He said curiously. Serena. Well, I found mine, she couldn't continue because her phone started transmitting static. Issei. Damn, not again, he said frustrated. Come on, this will be fun, it's time for a triple round, he said funny. Issei. What does that mean? He said doubtfully. In the Roman Colosseum his first goodbye challenge awaits. Issei. Let's go, Winston will see us walking there, he said, subject to Serena, since it seemed like he wasn't flying. Gustav. Let's go, he said as the four of them flew away while Serena held on tightly. Roman Colosseum, Italy. The five boys went down looking around without finding any clue as to what the game could be, but at that moment a strange card fell to the ground. Bill. This card is from Bakugan, he said in shock. Gustav. This is not possible, he said scared. Issei. What's wrong? You don't remember how to play Bakugan, he said amused. Gustav. You forget the last time we played in an I'm Gil almost died, he said nervously. I see you've arrived, this is your first round, win all three and you'll win, he said mockingly. At that moment a blonde boy with a mask appeared, a gray-skinned woman, a blue-haired girl, an old man in a red suit and a green-haired girl. Issei. This must be a joke, he said in shock. At that moment 5 strange gloves or something strange appeared on his arms with a light that said select item. Issei. Well, a caster and we have to choose our attribute, so who chooses first, he said doubtfully. Serena. I choose the house, she said, selecting a symbol with light. Toka. I'll take the aquos, they're the best, she said, touching the blue symbol. Bill. I will use the Ventus, he said, selecting the air symbol. Gustav. And I take the Darkus, he said nervously, touching the dark symbol. Issei. I choose the Pyro, touching the fire symbol. At that moment 5 spheres of the color of their symbols appeared with a rare card. The enemies. Launcher, they said seriously. Aimer. Power stroke. In an unknown place in the underworld. Euclid. Sir, it is a success that Miss Elizabeth was compatible with Trihexa, he said excitedly. Brizavam. Perfect the way you feel, he said excitedly. Elizabeth. Excellent, she said smiling. Brizavam. Soon my revenge will be fulfilled, he said as if he were mad. Elizabeth. Soon, very soon, Gustav, your death will come. Strategy and power. Bakugan battle has begun. Zenohold. Bakugan fight. Bakugan emerges forward. Farbros Pyrus, said the old man summoning a red mechanical monster. Azarina. Go ahead. Bakugan fight. Bakugan emerges. Lumigril House, said the Gundalian woman taking out a wolf with 9 tails. Lean. Let's go. Elico Aquo, said the blue-haired girl throwing a Bakugan with a humanoid appearance. Seal. It's time for beauty, Spyrin Venta said, summoning a human-bird hybrid. Masquerade. It's time to finish them off. Bakugan fight. Bakugan now emerges. Hydronoid Darkus, he said, making a 3-headed dragon emerge. Bill. Let's go with everything forward friend. Bakugan fight. Bakugan now arises. Skyrus Ventus, said the purple-haired man, making another giant phoenix emerge. Serena. Next up, Bakugan fight. Bakugan emerges. Tigrera House, said the blonde excitedly, bringing out a tiger-human hybrid. Toka. My turn. Bakugan fight. Bakugan surge. Elfina Quos, said the girl taking out a strange creature with a human appearance. Gustav. Aye, he said nervously, but someone interrupted him. Albion. Don't worry, what happened that time won't happen again, so fight like you know how, he said mentally, making the blue-haired boy regain his confidence. Gustav. You're right, Bakugan fights. Bakugan now emerges. Helios Darkus, he said, taking out a kind of dragon with a robotic body. Issei. I'm done. Bakugan fight. Bakugan now Drago Pyrus emerges, he said, still taking out Red Dragon. Everyone saw that they only had one life, so it was win or die. Masquerade. Die power activated. Trident of Death, he said seriously, while the dragon opened its 3 mouths. The attack was brutal, but almost all the Bakugan got there except for a little blue one. Thoka Elfinu, said the purple-haired girl, worried. The attack hit its mark, raising a smokescreen that worried everyone. Masquerade. So little is enough. He couldn't continue because a robotic voice interrupted him. Robot. Damage to outer hull 50%, damage to center 15%, fixing all damage caused by the Trident of Death. Thoka. What is that, she said without understanding. The smoke began to disperse, seeing Helios in front of Elfin. Dust of Infinite Farba's power, this allows him to repair all damage inflicted by rival attacks, said the serious blue-haired man, surprising everyone. Thoka. Gustav, thank you, she said, coming out of shock. Gustav. Let's not lose anyone this time, he said with a calm smile. Gamers, yes, they said with enthusiasm. So the fights continued, the felines clashing their claws just like the Ventus in the air. Malene. Look, Elico, the brat was saved, luckily, now she won't do it, said the Aquos, annoyed. Thoka. We will not be the weak link. Elfin changes to Darkus and uses Rainbow Veil, she said, while the Aquos obeyed. The attack hit and sent it flying into the ground, defeating it. Malene. Impossible, how could I lose? She said in shock as she disappeared. Azarina. Come on, some simple brats won't beat us, Lumagirl, she said, upset. Serena. You don't learn, old witch, it was some brats who defeated you in the series, and now we have activated Swift Fang, she said excitedly. The two felines ran furiously against each other, and after the clash Lumagirl fell defeated. Stamp. No, they will not defeat me, I will win, and I will continue living to appreciate beauty, he said with hints of madness. Bill. Wow, you are as crazy as a goat, but your wish is good, although during the series you were only a two-faced, so I have no other choice, so go ahead. Skyrus power activated Phoenix Fulgur, he said, while the phoenix lit up in flames, and they hit the bird hybrid. After the attack, all that was seen was Spyron falling, enveloped in green flames. Stamp. No, it's not possible, Nuuo, she said desperately as she disappeared. Gustav. Come on, Helios, don't lower the intensity, he said intensely. Masquerade. Go ahead, Hydronoid, don't let that cheap copy defeat you. Trident of Death, he said, repeating his attack. Gustav. We will not stay behind, we will activate Rock Cannon, he said seriously, while Helios' abdomen opened and he began to charge his attack. The attacks collided in the center very evenly, but slowly the helium attack began to overcome the other and finally hit Hydronoid, defeating it. Masquerade. You did well, you showed a great bond with your Bakugan, as well as protecting your teammates, no matter the danger you could be in. You have my respect, he said calmly as he faded away. Issei. They're done now, it's my turn, he said with encouragement. Zenohold. Ha 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 ha, silly kid, do you really think you'll defeat me if I put the Bakugan world in check with my machines? Now you think a single kid will defeat me? He said confidently as he got on his Bakugan. Issei. Maybe you are a little right, and I think it is time to even the balance of weapons, he said decisively. Robot Jekker Plisto. Issei. Armament installed, he said seriously. At that moment a strange artifact appeared in Drago. Zenohold. What is that thing, he said without understanding. Issei. It is the union between the machines and the Bakugan, so the power of the activated jet destroyer weapon, he said seriously, while some strange cannons came out from the top of the weapon. Zenohold. No, you won't beat me with all of Farbros, he said furiously. The machine tried to fight back, but it was useless as the attack hit home and began to destroy the robot. Zenohold. No, I can't be defeated, Nuuo, he said with hatred while he disappeared. At that moment the Bakugan and launchers disappeared. Congratulations, you've done it, but it's time for round 2. At that moment, strange spots appeared in the sky, leaving the gamers and spectators confused, but before saying anything, 5 strange beings appeared and small, strange artifacts appeared to the boys. Gustav. Digimon. Digital Force. Gustav. Digimon, he said seriously. Correct, they will face them, and they will be able to choose a Digivolution from different generations, and they will be able to repeat a generation if they so decide, he said seriously while disappearing. Issei. Well, how do we do this? He said a little nervously. Thoka. I take the 5th generation, she said as a thick rectangle appeared in her hand. Gustav. I'll take the 2nd one, he said calmly as a kind of walkie-talkie appeared. Bill. I will use the 3rd generation, he said happily as a kind of hanging clock appeared. Serena. Oh, I wanted that one too, she said pouting, but before continuing a similar watch appeared. Issei. Well, we already used the repeated one, so I take the first generation, he said, while the original Digivice appeared. After his choice, the rival Digimons began to approach. Serena. And now where are the Digimons, he said, worried. Gustav. I don't know unless, he said thoughtfully. Issei. Let us be the Digimons. After saying it, two strange figures appeared. A strange metal hound and an orange being that turned into lights and joined a white being. The Megaman, said the strange white being. Bill. My turn is surprising, he said with enthusiasm. Thus he began to shine as his body changed into that of a knight. The Latman, he said decisively. Serena. I'll follow, she said, starting to shine. This is how it changed its shape, revealing a woman in a yellow outfit. Tsukuyoman Daiho and elegant form. Toka. It's my turn, he said excitedly. Forward to second 54. The girl began to glow in a pink whirlwind as her appearance changed into a woman with pink hair. Rosemond said in an elegant voice. Gustav. I'm really the last one, but I'll be the first to attack, he said happily while splitting into two lights. After that, the two lights joined together, creating a humanoid with machine guns. Aldraman Mega Digivolution. He said while being enveloped in a dragon-shaped light. Aldraman said, a being in the form of a dragon. Without hesitation, the dragon launched itself against its rivals, beginning the attack, while the centaur-like Digimon took flight and began to fight the dragon. While the boys were dealing with the others, a Megaman vs Ulfer Speed Draymon. The Latman vs Denazman. Tsukuyoman vs Magnamon. Rosemond vs Lord Knightman. The battles were quite even since the boys perfectly mastered the Digimon's abilities, but Kentarosman landed an attack on Aldraman, creating a smokescreen that made people think they had defeated him, but Aldraman emerged from the smoke with a human appearance. Aldraman. This is over, Devastator, he said, opening his chest, launching a powerful attack that disintegrated Kentarosman. The Megaman. That's great, let's continue, he said animatedly as he continued his sword battle against Ulfer Speed Draymon. Tsukuyoman. That's it, Sacred Beauty, he said, shaking his staff, creating an orb of energy that destroyed Magnamon. The Latman. It was a great battle, but it's over. Final Spear, he said seriously, starting to run while his spear lit up and he connected it to Denazman. Rosemond. Let's go for the second victory. Forbidden Temptation, said, glowing in a pink tone and then hitting Lord Knightman and defeating him. The Megaman. It's time for our second victory, Final Judgment, he said, pointing with his wolf arm, launching a powerful attack, defeating his last opponents. After the battle ended, the boys lit up and returned to their original form. Issei. It was fun, he said happily. Gustav. I must admit I have never felt so alive, he said excitedly. Bill. Come on, I'm burning up, he said enthusiastically. Serena. Come on, we can do anything, she said relaxed. Toka. Come on, it's taking too long, she said upset. I must admit that this is frustrating me and I am very angry. In their final round, they will face an opponent who will show 3 different ways that will come out according to the damage they do to him, he said angrily. Issei. Well, we are ready, he said confidently. You can choose 2 skills from 2 characters in this game, but well, this is your opponent, he said seriously. After saying that, he disappeared, leaving behind a man in samurai-type armor and with strange red eyes. Gamers Madara. Unknown location. Rizavam. Tell me, Razor, how things are there, he said looking at a screen. Razor. Everything is ready, the factions will never expect us to use that against them, said the blonde phoenix mockingly. Rizavam. Who would have thought that? Thanks to you, God is alive again and fighting on our side, ha 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 ha, he said madly, still looking at the elderly man with a lost look. Elizabeth. How much longer, Rizavam? Trihiksa and I want blood, said the hysterical girl. Rizavam. Relax, soon you will kill whoever you please. Unknown place in space. We will carry out 3 more attacks, but begin with the preparations for the invasion, said the hooded man looking at his servants. Dimensional gap. Big Red Office, are you sure of what you say, said a big red dragon looking at a purple-haired loli. The office. If it's true, Trihiksa is out of the seal since it seems that she transferred her soul to a kind of sacred gear, said the loli with concern. Great Red. This is worrying, we must warn the faction, said the dragon seriously. The office. Okay, I'll tell you what happens, father, he said, disappearing from the gap. Big Red. The mother of all battles is yet to come. Where is Shinobi? The boys were face to face with their last rival, who was Madara from Naruto. Issei. So we have to pick up 2 characters from Naruto, I already know who, he said smiling. On people's screens appeared. Issei selection. Naruto and Kakashi. Suddenly the brown-haired boy's outfit became Naruto's. Gustav. Wow, then, I'll continue in a big way, he said calmly. Gustav selection. Minato and Sasuke. As with Issei, the outfit changed, but this was Minato's. Bill. It will be a tough but fun battle, he said with emotion. Bill selection. Might Guy and Shikamaru. His suit appeared and it was Guy's. Serena. This battle will be good, she said excitedly. Serena selection. Hinata and Tsunade. She had Hinata's white suit. Thoka. I think I'll go, he said relaxed. Thoka selection. Sakura and Ino receiving the pink-haired girl's outfit. The five ran at high speed towards Madara, and Gustav made the first move by throwing a kunai, but it was easily dodged. Madara. It's the best you have, he said mockingly. Gustav. Predictable, he said seriously, disappearing from everyone's sight. He appeared above Madara where the knife was with a blue orb in his hand. Gustav. Rasengan, he said furiously, crashing the orb on Madara. Issei. My turn, Rasen Shuriken, he said seriously. After that, a huge explosion occurred. Serena. It's that easy, she said incredulously. Bill. I don't think so, he defeated a large part of the Shinobi Alliance and defeated the cages, he said seriously. At that moment Madara came out with torn clothes and a serious look. Madara. Fire style, great fire annihilation, he said, releasing a large flame coming out of his lips. Thoka. How will we stop that? She said worriedly. Gustav. We won't be able to stop her, we'll have to receive her Susanoo, he shouted the last thing, making a purple energy being appear. The flame swept through the battlefield leaving a landscape in flames, but the gamers were safe and sound thanks to the purple being. Madara. Good idea, but you are not the only one, he said, invoking his Susanoo. Thus began a fight between the two, Susanoo, with a clear advantage on Madara's part, but something he did not expect. Issei. They are not the only ones, he said seriously while hitting Madara's blue Susanoo with a green one. Now the advantage was for the gamers since it was 2 against 1, breaking the black-haired man's defense. Serena. It's my turn, she said, covering her arm in chakra in the form of an animal, hitting an off-guard Madara. Thoka. Gil, let's go, she said it would be while both connected a strong blow to the Uchiha. At that moment Madara stood up, but his clothes began to change, and his skin turned white, and a strange staff appeared in his hand. Gil. Madara Bijuu, he said seriously. Madara. We continue with this dance, he said seriously. Without warning Madara moved at superhuman speed, connecting a blow to Issei and Gustav, sending them far away, and a blow that sent Serena to the ground. Madara. Don't tell me that's all, he said mockingly. Before continuing, Gil landed a strong kick to his face, making him retreat. Gil. 7th door of chakra, Lee said, releasing a large amount of red tone chakra. Gil began to increase his strength and speed by launching powerful blows, causing great damage to Madara. Madara. Come on, show me your true power, he said euphorically. Gil. You want it, you will get it. 8th gate. The gate of death. Liberation, he said furiously as all his power was released in the form of a dragon. Madara. Go ahead, he said excitedly. Gil. Yes, he said, launching himself at high speed, destroying everything in his path. Issei. Imbecile, stop, you'll kill yourself, he said worried. Gustav. You pieces of idiot, this time I will not bring you back to life, he said frustrated. Regardless of anything, Gil connected a brutal kick against Madara, leaving them both very hurt, but Gil also ended up very injured. Thoka. Serena, come help me, we need to help him, he said worriedly, using his hands with medical jutsu. Serena without protest began to use medical jutsu, so both helped heal the boy, but Madara appeared, but he looked strange and began to be covered by a flow of chakra while he began to increase in size and then turn into a strange woman. Serena Toka Kagaya, they said in shock. Issei. Continue with Gil, we'll take care of it or not, Gustav, he said seriously, becoming the bearer of Ashura. Gustav. Yes, of course, let's go with the one that gave rise to the entire Naruto universe, it will be fun, he said with Indra's aura. They both began to run against the goddess while she was shedding tears, but regardless of that they began to fight, even though it was difficult to keep up with her. Issei. Okay, this is frustrating, I guess we have to seal it, he said tired. Gustav. When this is over I'll take a vacation in Fiji, he said on the ground after a blow from the goddess. The battle continued with Issei throwing his Rasen Shuriken with 9 chakra tails and Gustav throwing an arrow with his Susanoo. Kagaya. That won't do, my children, she said sadly. Serena Toka. But maybe this is it, they said in unison, hitting the woman's head, causing her to bounce off the floor. Kagaya. How dare you, she didn't continue because something was preventing her from moving, and in the distance was Gil with the shadow jutsu. Gil. Do it now, he said hysterically. Without thinking, the two of them ran towards Kagaya and touched her, and then touched their hands, completing the seal. He wins. It echoed everywhere as people began to celebrate, and the kids let out a sigh of happiness. Issei. Well done, gentlemen, he said, falling to the floor very tired. Congratulations, you did it, you won, these are your rewards. First they will have a Bakugan woman plus the Bakugan they used. He said as the Bakugan they used appeared in his hands and 3 girls appeared, an orange-haired girl with Issei, a white-haired brunette with Gil and a blue-haired girl with Gustav. Second, they will have the Digimons that they used with the ability to digivolve. He said as the Digimons appeared in their baby forms. Third, another girl from the last game, and they will be able to use the skills of the characters they used. Now the girls that appeared were a shy blue-haired girl with Issei, an ash blonde with Gil and a reddish-brown girl with Gustav. I'm leaving, but remember your planet will be mine. The virus. The boys were more than happy to get another victory in a triple round. Issei. We've become good, don't you think? He said happily. Gustav. Don't exaggerate, if we were as good as you say we wouldn't end up half dead, he said mockingly. Gil. This time I support him, he said tired. Serena. Guys, let's go home, I need a nap, she said happily hugging her Digimon. Toka. You're right, there's the helicopter, she said calmly. So the boys set off for home, being welcomed by their girls. 2 weeks later. We can see a blue-haired boy sleeping with all his girls, but he seemed to be having a bad dream. In the dream. You're surprised, shouldn't you? Your end is near, said a strange figure. Gustav. But who are you? Said the boy summoning his armor. You ruined everything, he said launching a powerful attack. Gustav. Ah, he said upset. Cynthia. Gustav, honey, what's happening? She said, scared like the rest. Gustav. Nah, nothing, it was a nightmare, forgive me, he said confused. Fabia. You sure don't look well, you're pale, she said worried like the rest. Gustav. Calm down, I'm fine, I just need some air, he said as he left the room. Albion. That wasn't a dream, buddy, that seemed real and I know that power, he said nervously. Gustav. Who does it belong to, he said nervously. Albion. Al Trahixa. That same day in the morning. Surzich. Are you sure? Said the redeed in disbelief and scared. Gustav. If the Trahixa is free, he said seriously. Michael. But that is impossible, his power could not be hidden, as soon as it was released the factions would feel it, he said nervously. Greg. But not if they transfer their soul to a sacred gear, said the serious dragon from the gauntlet. Albion. If that was what happened when activating the sacred gear, it doesn't bring out all the power it has, and it would be easy to hide it with a barrier, he said worriedly. Azazel. Well, we will send people to the label to review it to be sure, could not finish because the static started. Hello, you know what it means, he said funny. Gustav. It can't be fair now, he said seriously. Here is the place of the lucky battle disappearing from the devices. At that moment a strange dark city appeared, showing itself in flames with strange beings. Toka. That's Raccoon City, she said incredulously, seeing the land of zombies. Issei. Perfect, let's go, he said getting into the helicopter. Bill. Gustav, calm down, you'll see that everything will be fine, he said calmly, trying to cheer up the blue-haired boy. Gustav. If you're right, I'm thinking about it a lot, he said calmer. Serena. Yes, we will be in Resident Envio, she said excitedly. Toka. How did that song go? She said curiously. Issei. They say there's a virus spreading throughout the city. Bill, that makes people die and their evil resurrects. Serena. Just his evil animal instinct. Toka. A reality that will end the world. Gustav. Residents of terror rot your flesh and change your insides. Gamers. Only one culprit to say no to. One opponent, a corporation. Winston. Okay guys, we just arrived, he said calmly. The boys descended from their safe place ready to begin. Welcome to this battle, you must save Sherry Birkin, but you will need to defeat all the bosses, he said funny. At that moment the boys' clothes changed to those of some characters in the game. Issei. Yes, I am Leon, he said happily. Gustav. I'm Chris, he said happily. Bill. Hey, I'm Piers, he said, surprised. Serena. Hey, this outfit is Rebecca Chambers, she said happily. Toka. I have the one from Jill from Resident Evil 1, she said calmly. Issei. Chronologically we have 0 with Serena, 1 with Toka, 2 with me, 5 with Gustav, and 6 with Gil, he said thoughtfully. Bill. Technically we only need 3.4, but I think there will be no problem, he said calmly. At that moment a map with 5 locations appeared on a map. Gustav. Well, we have to play needle in the haystack. Each of us should take 2 weapons and go in one direction. We have communicators, so let's go, he said seriously. Gamers, sir, yes sir, they said firmly. Issei. I take the Lightning Hawks and the shotgun and go to the police station, he said calmly. Bill. I'll take the Chicago typewriter and the W870. I'll go to Raccoon Institute, he said happily. Toka. My turn is to choose Matilda and Jailbreaker, and I'll go to the zoo, she said excitedly. Serena. I'll use the GM79 and the MQ11, and I'll go to the hospital, she said excitedly. Gustav. Perfect, I have to go to the University City, and I will use the Hydra and the Bear Commander, he said seriously. Issei. Perfect, let's go, he said, leaving at high speed with the others. 20 minutes later. Toka. Sherry little one you are here don't worry I'm not going to hurt you she said quietly whispering looking around her. Nothing could only hear the zombies that were around there. Thoka. Damn this wax calm she didn't continue because a voice interrupted her. Stars. Thoka. Nemesis. Hongil. Bill. I can't believe I'm in Raccoon City, it's great he said happily. The boy was happily walking around shooting a few zombies that blocked his path. What a happy boy said a woman in a blue suit and a red scarf. Bill Carla Radams. But Issei. Issei. Wow, this place is a little creepy he said looking around the place. The boy looked around trying not to attract the attention of the zombies and likers that were there. Issei. I must be careful he said calmly. Before continuing, the infected began to run as if they were escaping from something. Issei. This is not boo he couldn't continue because a gigantic being in a suit appeared. Issei. Seriously Mr. X. But Serena. Serena. I don't understand how I like these games if I'm terrified of gloomy places she said with a little fear. Help someone said a girl's voice. Serena. Yes here little one where are you she said she was looking for the person who did the voice. At that moment a blonde girl appeared. Serena. Sherry she said happily. Sherry. Hey, how do you know my name? She said surprised. Serena. Yes, but that doesn't matter. Come on, we have to go she said hurriedly. Sherry. If we have to she couldn't finish because a creature with a big eye on her arm appeared. Serena. William Birkin. On Gustav. Gustav. Damn, where's that snotty couldn't continue because something hit him multiple times, throwing him a few meters. The being who hit him was a man in black clothes and glasses. Gustav. I should have imagined Wesker. Exterminating the virus. We are in Raccoon City where our gamers were facing final bosses from the different Resident Evil games. Issei. Guys, you don't know who I ran into he said running while Mr. X followed him. Thoka. It's not a good time Issei, the damn nemesis is chasing me she said agitatedly. Serena. I found Sherry but also her dad she said nervously. Issei. Hey what's going on with Gil and Gustav he said worried. Han Gil. Carla. My name is Ada Wong said the annoyed black-haired girl. Bill. Wow, you never accepted the truth he said, uncomfortable with the situation. Carla. Shut up she said snapping her fingers and instantly a kind of ogre with a mechanical arm fell from a building. Bill. Yes, I imagined it, let's dance a cheap copy of Nemesis he said, starting to run. On Gustav. Wesker. Get up and have some fun he said without flinching. Gustav. It's what you want, let's do it he said furiously. So both began to exchange blows, being evenly matched. In space. My lord, that human is on par with our warrior, that is impossible, he must be cheating, said a shadow being looking at the hooded man. You're not wrong, his body is no longer human, it's that of one of those creatures called dragons, that's why he can fight him, he's not cheating he said seriously. But this achievement see a huge explosion in the university town of Raccoon City. Issei. Gustav what's going on he said nervously. Gustav. Issei, this is not a good time to be fighting with that idiot Wesker he said seriously. Issei. What do you mean when you're fighting? Don't tell me you're using your sacred gear he said nervously. Gustav. Relax, look, we have an advantage he said seriously. Issei. What are you talking about he said confused. Gustav. You see, our body is different, we are dragons, our physical abilities are enhanced he said calmly, surprising Issei. Issei. Gil did you hear that? He said worried since Gil had not communicated with them from the beginning. Gil. I heard everything but don't call me for a while I'm fighting with the crappy nemesis he said seriously. Gustav. The nemesis is bad the Ustanak he said surprised. Gil. That's good, see you he said cutting off the communication. Gustav. Well, I see he said, imitating the purple-haired boy. Issei. Then I can do this he said running against Mr. X and giving him a punch that made him retreat a few meters. But Serena. Serena. Where the hell did Birkin go? She said tensely. Sherry. Hey, even if he's a monster, he's still my dad she said, pouting. Serena. I'm sorry, I'm nervous she said nervously. Ooh From one of the walls Birkin emerged in his third form without any human appearance, and the most notable thing was his multiple limbs. Serena. But why did he change so much he skipped one of his forms she said scared. Sherry. Run she said scared. Thoka. Ma damn it I have to find that weapon there because I don't remember the name with it, I could kill that thing she said, trying to hide from the most powerful tyrant. On Gustav. Wesker. Nothing bad, Brady said, wiping the blood from his lip. Gustav. I say the same Wesker, I'll make you pay for making me break 2 controls out of frustration for not defeating me, he said annoyed. Wesker. Show me, he said, releasing his shirt and beginning to mutate. Gustav. You have to be kidding. Gil. Bill. I have the easiest rival, he said, amused while hitting the Ustanak. Carla. How is it possible you are a simple human, she said in shock. Bill. You're wrong, I'm a dragon, he said, giving a precise blow sending the bow to the ground. Carla. This is not possible. But Issei. Issei. I can keep hitting him, but this won't last forever. Where is there a rocket launcher when you need it, he said tiredly. At that moment a countdown began in the sky. 30 minutes. Issei, wait for a countdown in Resident Evil. Bill. It can only mean one thing. Gustav. Everything is going to explode. Issei. Toka, you copy me, he said desperately. Toka. Issei, it's not a good time. Mr. Tentacles is following me, she said worriedly. Issei. That doesn't matter, go with Serena and go to the clock tower, she has the girl, he said worriedly. Toka. Issei, I already told you, it's not a good time, she said nervously looking at Nemesis near her position. Issei. No Toka, listen to me, in 30 minutes Raccoon City will be destroyed, he said seriously. Toka. Ha, a classic, she said mockingly. Issei. Okay, see you there, he said seriously. Serena. Toka, we'll meet 2 blocks away near the clock tower, she said it would be. Gil. The Ustanak couldn't get up because Gil dropped an addition on him. Carla. I lost it, I lost everything, she said in shock. Bill. Carla, I know what you went through. You only wanted Derek Simmons' love, and because of his damn obsession he ruined your life, he said with pity towards the woman. Carla. I just wanted him to love me, she said sadly, taking out a syringe that said Virus C. Bill. Wait, he said nervously. Carla. Because I should, she said in a low voice. Bill. Look, you can get on with your life instead of becoming a monster, he said calmly. Carla. So that they will always see me as a cheap copy of Ada Wong, she said sadly. Bill. You're not wrong, I would never think that, or why do you think that? Since we met I called you Carla and not Ada, he said seriously. Carla. It's true, you saw me differently, you didn't see me like the rest, she said, staring at Gil. Bill. Come with me. 20 minutes. Gustav. Gustav. This is wrong, he said hurt, looking at the mutated blonde as if nothing happened. Wesker. That's all, Kitty said mockingly. Albion. My companion in one of the corners, he said mentally. Gustav did as he asked and looked at each corner, and in one of them there was a missile launcher. Gustav. Bingo, he said smiling. Gustav lunged at Wesker and took advantage of the opportunity to land a direct hit that made him lose his vision for a few seconds while Gustav grabbed the missile launcher. Wesker. It's the best you've got, he said mockingly. Gustav. This is not at launching the missile. 10 minutes. Serena. Toka, we're finally going, she said, starting to run to the tower. When they arrived, Gil and Carla were waiting for them. Serena. Toka. Carla Radams, they were confused. Bill. Long story short, he said as he started to climb up. Already up to the top. Bill. Damn, those things don't get tired, he said looking at Birkin in his 4th form, Nemesis and the Ustanak without his robot arm. Ooh. A missile hit the place where the 3 were. Bill. But what, he said surprised. Gustav. That will teach them, damn it, he said exhausted. Bill. Gustav said happily. Gustav. Guys, Miss Radams, Sherry, where the hell is Issei? He said, sitting on the floor. Issei. Here I am, it's time to go, by the way, what is Carla Radams doing? He said running up to them. Serena. Let's go to the helicopter quickly, she said desperately. 2 minutes. The boys arrived at the helicopter where they were preparing to board. Issei. Okay guys, who knows how to fly a helicopter? He said nervously. Bill. Gustav, you are rich, your family surely had a helicopter that you must have known how to handle, he said nervously. 140. Gustav. That's racist, but you're right, get in, he said getting into the cabin with Issei. So they took flight, but something held them, and when they saw William Birkin in his last form using a limb to hold the helicopter while Wesker and the rest approached. Issei. Damn, they don't get tired, he said frustrated. 1 o'clock. Gustav. Issei, I have 1 missile left, use it wisely, he said giving him the weapon. Issei. I won't do it, he said enthusiastically. Without delay, Issei opened the door ready to shoot. 0:30. Issei. Thank you for being one of the best video game series, he said firing the missile, freeing himself from Birkin's grip. 0:05. So the boys rose away from the city while a missile headed in their direction and began to destroy the city. Issei. We did it, he said victoriously. While they were relaxing flying in the helicopter. He wins. Different places, same mission. The gamers landed near the extinct Raccoon City while people nearby congratulated them on their victory until the hooded man appeared. They were pretty good and fast, I admit, but this won't stay like this, you can keep her, he said seriously, disappearing. The lights appeared revealing 3 women and 2 spheres in armor. Issei. Wow, I have Ada Wong, he said pleased. Bill. I have Claire Redfield as well as Carla Adams, he said happily. Gustav. Guys, I think we are the kings of the harem, and I'm not complaining since I have Jill Valentine, he said happily looking at the blonde. Serena. Oh, I'm so happy I have Galactic King, she said happily looking at the little ball. Thoka. I'm happy, I have Dark Metal King, she said looking at the other little ball. Ada. What a copy, she said looking at Carla. Bill. Miss Wong, I ask you to respect Carla, he said seriously while Carla blushed. Gustav. We could keep calm, he said crossing his arm. Winston. Young people, it's time to go. You'll have time to get to know your company, she said calmly as she got off the helicopter. 3 hours later. The boys arrived home and were greeted by their girls and celebrated their victory. Riaz. Guys, that was amazing, congratulations on your victory, she said happily. Sona. It was a difficult victory, but congratulations, she said happily. Athena. Gustav, are you okay? We saw how that thing hit you. She said worried like the whole blue-haired man's harem. Gustav. Don't worry, it was tiring, but thanks to being a dragon my resistance is better, but I will take a shower and sleep for a long time, he said with a calm smile. Hiroka. And how are you, Issei? She said distressed. Issei. Well, it was exhausting, but nothing we couldn't handle, right? Gil said relaxed. Gil. If it's more, I got the easiest one, so I'll just take a shower before going to bed, he said carefree, relieving his girls. Issei. Well, let's rest. Location unknown. Rizavam. When will everything be ready, said the old man seriously. Euclid. Within a month and we can begin our attack, he said smiling. Rizavam. Perfect as you go, Miss Elizabeth, he said smiling. Elizabeth. Wonderful, I have already mastered 50% of the total power of the Trihexa, she said with satisfaction. Trihexa. I must admit this girl is amazing. Rizavam was the best choice, Trihexa's voice resounded. Rizavam. Only the best for the conquest of all kingdoms. Unknown location in space. My lord, we have just received some information that may be of interest to you. Tell me what is that of high interest, said the hooded man seriously. In a month some beings will attack the factions. Interesting, very interesting, increase the speed, we will make one last attack before invading, he said seriously. My lord, what do you intend? We will take advantage of the fact that their defenses are down to attack. 1 week and a half later. The gamers were relaxing after the battle, enjoying this period of tranquility. Issei. Gustav, I notice you're worried about what's happening, he said worried. Gustav. Well, I received a call from my parents. They say that my sister has been missing for a few months, he said thoughtfully. Issei. And you're worried that something bad will happen to him, he said curiously. Gustav. To be honest, the fact that I don't know where he is makes me nervous, he said worriedly. Issei. Do you think she could do something bad? He said seriously. Gustav. Knowing my sister, everything is possible. Underworld Gremory Castle. The leaders were gathered together, but a rather dense aura of tension could be felt. Sirzich. Well, Azazel, what did you discover, he said seriously. Azazel. The boy was right, Trihexa is no longer in the seal, he said scared. Shiva. Boo, but how is this possible? It's unheard of, he said upset. Michael. We don't know, maybe it could be possible that the idea of it being sealed in a sacred gear could be possible, he said seriously. Anubis. We never imagined a situation like this, he said nervously. Auden. The important thing is not to lose calm, and we must prepare for an imminent war. We have no choice, he said seriously. Isaka. That's right, we must be ready for anything. Back to the mansion. Cynthia. Gustav, you should rest, you've been training every day, she said worriedly along with the others in the harem. Albion. You should listen to them, they only care about you, and if there is an attack you will be tired, said from the blue-haired man's mind. Gustav. Okay, I'll stop, but the idea that Elizabeth doesn't show up has me worried, he said distressed. Chun-Li. We know you feel that way, but don't worry, everything will be fine, said the fighters affectionately. Gustav. Thank you for your support, girls, he said affectionately. At that moment Akali appeared running with a worried face. Akali. Gustav is starting, he said showing a cell phone. This game will be fun, 5 islands will appear, different things will appear, but the objective is the same, kill the enemies and then kill the final boss, I wish you luck. Gustav. Damn, it's time to take action, he said starting to run with the others. Issei. I see that you already realized it, great, we don't have to explain anything to you, he said seriously. Gustav. Yes, where is Winston? He said curiously. Serena. He's on his way, he said he'll be in 5 minutes, she said looking at a phone. Shortly after, the helicopter arrived and without hesitation the boys climbed in to go into battle. Winston. Okay guys, the battle will be near the Atlantic Ocean. We can't see what's on each one, but there's a sixth island that's like an intermediary to choose which one you want to go to, he said seriously. Issei. Okay, let's go, he said seriously. After landing on the neutral island where 5 images appeared showing the different scenarios. Issei. Wow, this will be fun, guys, how do we do this? He said excitedly. Gustav. I would like to go to Assassin's Creed, he said seriously. Serena. I want to go to Gears of War, she said excitedly. Thoka. I want Battlefield, she said it would be. Bill. I take Call of Duty, he said anxiously. Issei. Then I am Master Chief, he said excitedly. At that moment the stages opened like portals. Issei. Go ahead. Different dimensions with the same purpose. The gamers quickly entered the portals and their clothes changed to the characteristics of each video game. Halo. Issei. As expected, I was chosen to be Master Chief, he said happily looking at his armor. At that moment a list of quests appeared in his view. Missions to win. 1. Defeat 500 Jackal Storm 0500. 2. Rescue Cortana. 3. Defeat the Didact. Issei. It will be easy, I will use frag grenades, the shotgun, the railgun and the saw, he said calmly. Issei. Come on, here we go. Assassin's Creed. Gustav. Alter's clothes, he said excitedly. Missions to win. 1. Kill 600 Templars 0600. 2. Kill Al Mulim. 3. Get the Fruit of Eden. Gustav. He will use the classic hidden blade, the crossbow and Alter's back, he said putting on his weapons. Gustav, let's go after that traitor. Gears of War. Serena. Hey, and who says that a girl doesn't look good in a gear armor? She said looking at her outfit. Missions to win. 1. Defeat 250 Nemesis 0250. 2. Defeat 200 Cedars 0200. 3. Defeat Karn. Serena. Well, let's see what toys I'll use. Lancer, Nasher shotgun and the MX8 pistol, she said happily. Serena. Let's have fun. Battlefield. Thoka. I don't look so bad in military uniform, she said happily. Missions to win. 1. Kill 500 soldiers 0500. 2. Kill 50 soldiers with tanks 050. 3. Capture all 5 flags. Thoka. Let's get my work tools, and I'll use the STG-44, the MG-42 and the PZ.B-39, she said, loading all her weapons. Thoka. Time to act. Call of Duty. Bill. By the outfit this must be Call of Duty Ghost, he said thoughtfully. Missions to win. 1. Kill 650 soldiers 0650. 2. Rescue Anaya Stroud. 3. Defeat Breeder. Bill. How curious, Anaya is from Gears, I suppose that since Arena chose that world, I got this mission, Well, my weapons will be the Fad, the Bison, the Bulldog and the M9A1, he said happily. Bill. Let's play. Halo. We see the former brown-haired man in his armor finishing off any jackal that gets in his way. Issei. Wow, I haven't even used my grenades, he said amused. Someone help please, said a voice from a strange base. Issei. I think I know who it is, he said amused as he started to run. Greg. You have 290 out of 500, you have to be careful, he said seriously. Issei. I'll have it, don't worry, he said without flinching. Who are you? You have come to help me, said a blue girl hopefully. Issei. I'm Issei Haidu, nice to meet you Cortana, he said killing 2 more who served as guards. Cortana. How do you know my name? She said in surprise. Issei. Long story, I came to rescue her, he said calmly opening the cell where the girl was. Ring ring. An alarm began to ring, alerting the chestnut. Issei. I think it's time to go, he said nervously. Cortana. I think so, she said nervously. They both left the place being chased by a bunch of jackals. Issei. Whatever you do, don't stop, he said while throwing some grenades. The detonation dispersed a smokescreen that gave him a considerable advantage. Greg. You're doing well with 337 out of 500, he said amused. Issei. Thanks for the tip, he said, starting to shoot at the jackals that could be seen. 10 minutes later. Issei. That was the last one, he said exhausted. The Didact. I wouldn't say that, said a horrible being. Issei. Come on, damn it, let's have fun. Battlefield. Thoka. Well, I have my platoon of 50, we will make groups of 10, 1 to each flag, he said it would be. The group quickly split up and took Alpha and Echo. Thoka. It's time to play, she said getting into the tank. Without hesitation he went to Delta and Bravo where the largest number of enemies were and they began to shoot. Thoka. Well, I have 150 out of 526 out of 50 with the tank, she said excitedly taking Bravo and heading to Delta. Call of Duty. The boy is a sadistic Iva exterminating his enemies left and right without caring about anything. Bill. Perfect, I have 493 out of 650, he said, amused. "Hey, who are you?" he said. "Bill." "Hi, I'm Gil, you must be Anaya," he said curiously. "Anaya? If that's my name, how do you know?" she said intrigued. "Bill. I have the mission to save her," he said bowing. "Anaya? Perfect reinforcement," she said calmly. "Bill. Fine, but we have to be cautious, so I'm going ahead," he said starting to shoot. "Anaya? Wow, you are good," she said surprised. "Bill. Thanks, but it's time for the mob," he said activating the bomb. "Anaya? You are crazy," she said surprised. "Bill. Thanks, but I still have 25 enemies left," and he couldn't continue because an earthquake distracted him. "Anaya? What is that?" he said it would be. "Bill. That's the breeder. Years of War." Serena was in a frenzy as she was about to complete her first and second mission. "Serena. Perfect, I just need 18 nemesis and 50 sowers," she said happily. This is how things continued to happen until. "Oh, but look who we have here," a little girl said a strange voice. "Serena. Who do you think you are to criticize with that horrible face, Karn?" she said annoyed looking at the battle of a strange being. "Karn. Damn brat, I'll make you suffer," he said with hatred. Serena. "Okay, abomination, let's dance." Assassin's Creed. The blue-haired man was very calm, killing with great stealth that would make the assassins proud. Gustav. "Well, I have 300, I'm missing half," he said hiding among the places. "Do you belong to the order?" said a girl. Gustav. "If that's true, you must be Xiao Jun," he said seriously, looking at the girl behind some bars. Xiao. "Yes, how do you know who I am?" she said incredulously. Gustav. "Well, I have my secrets, but don't worry, I came to help you," he said calmly. Xiao. "Thanks, but what are you doing here?" she said curiously. Gustav. "I have a mission and I must finish off several Templars among other things," he said thoughtfully. Xiao. "It's not that complicated, you should finish soon, right?" she said calmly. Gustav. "Not so much," he said releasing her from her confinement. Xiao. "Because," she said doubtfully. Gustav. "I must kill Al-Mulim. This is about to begin." Battlefield. Toka. "Attack," she said, rushing into her tank while a few of her platoon accompanied her to the final flag. The soldiers quickly made their way through, and when they had finished off the 50 enemy tanks, he descended and began killing to complete the second challenge while securing the flag. Toka. "I did it, I got it," she said happily as her quest list ticked off. Years of War. Serena. "Hey damn, it's all you got," said shooting at Karn and his subordinates. "Karn, do you really think he'll survive? I feel sorry for you," he said mockingly. Serena. "Well, I'm missing 3 and 9, after that I can do it," she said determinedly. So he began to shoot frantically at anything that moved and took its life. Karn. "You are a ruthless being, join me," he said seriously. Serena. "I will never be under your command," she said as she began to shoot. At one point the blonde took advantage of a small gap and managed to shoot him in the head, killing him instantly. Serena. "I got it," she said relieved. Call of Duty. Anaya. "That's the breeder," she said curiously. Bill. "It's a damn creature," he said worriedly loading his weapon. At that moment a grotesque-looking creature appeared in front of them. Bill. "He is the breeder," he said starting to shoot. Anaya. "And how will we finish it?" she said worried. Bill. "You distract him, I'll take care of the rest," he said while shooting at the soldiers. The girl nodded and began shooting at the creature while the boy quickly finished off the enemy's lives. Anaya. "How much longer?" she said nervously. Bill. "There's not much left, just hold on," he said seriously. Anaya. "Hurry up, I don't think I can resist much longer," he said while standing against the wall. Bill. "I already killed the 650 enemies, that's 25 for each mob, that means I have 26 mobs, and I already used one, that leaves me with 25, perfect," he said, activating them all and starting to run. Anaya. "What's happening where your plan is?" she said nervously. Bill. "There's no time now, just concentrate on running," he said nervously holding the girl's hand. 3, 2, 1. The explosion was unprecedented and left a huge mess, but the purple-haired man and the girl were safe underground. Anaya. "You are crazy," she said amazed seeing the disaster caused by the explosion. Bill. "Yes, I know, but at least I got it," he said tiredly. Assassin's Creed. Xiao Jun. "What the hell are you talking about? Killing Al-Mulim is a crime, it's treason," he said taking out a katana. Gustav. "Yes, of course, whatever you say," he said calmly, killing all the Templars. Xiao. "Well, you leave me no other choice," he said, launching a cut with his katana, but it was stopped by the blue-haired man's sword. Gustav. "Do you want to know why I have to kill him? He's a traitor, he's the leader of the Templars," he said annoyed, looking at his list of missions. Templars 585 600s. Xiao. "That's a lie, he can't be a traitor," he said with sadness and anger. Gustav. Believe what you want, it's not my problem, he said calmly as he continued with his murders. Shao. How are you so sure, he said it would be. Gustav. I know, because he couldn't continue because a voice interrupted him. El Mulam. Wow, I was getting bored until you finally showed up, said a man bored along with 4 other Templars. Gustav. So we started, he said amused. Templars 596 600s. Shao. So it's true, he said sadly falling to his knees. So the 4 Templars rushed at the boy and began to fight, but they were not much of a problem for the boy since he eliminated them with quick movements. El Mulam. Bravo, bravo, you remind me a lot of Alter, he said calmly. Gustav. How dare you mention that name after lying to him since his childhood, he said. A fight against the leader of the assassins. Thus a great fight between both assassins began to fight where the Mulam had the advantage. El Mulam. Come on kid, join me, you will be powerful, he said calmly. Gustav. I will never remain faithful to the code of assassins, he said seriously. El Mulam. It's one of the he couldn't continue because Gustav stabbed him in the neck with his hidden blade and was holding the apple of Eden. Gustav. It's over. Halo. The former chestnut was in a brutal confrontation against the Dxd. Greg. Issei, you have 463 attacks, maybe they don't damage the Dxd, but you are finishing off the others, he said calmly. Issei. Come on, damn, this is getting boring, he said seriously while continuing to shoot. The Dxd. Damn brat, you'll see, he said seriously. Issei. Drake, let me know when we complete the enemy mission, he said seriously while holding a grenade. The Dxd. You will never beat me, he said confidently. Issei. We'll see, he said resuming the battle. The shots went back and forth, neither of them took anything for granted, they were just looking for victory. Greg. Okay, buddy, you've completed it, he said seriously. Issei just nodded and threw a grenade that raised a large curtain of dust. The Dxd. I don't care about your little curtain, he said seriously. Issei. I should, he said calmly as he appeared behind him with a shotgun attached to his head. The Dxd. You don't have the guts, he said confidently. Issei. You're clearly wrong, he said, blowing his head off. Issei. It's over, he said tiredly. The dimension began to distort and as soon as it broke the 5 boys came together. Congratulations, you managed to overcome all the tests. Enjoy this victory because it is the last one, he said seriously as he disappeared. Issei. Hey, where are the rewards? He said curiously. Serena. Issei, we still have the suits and weapons and you have those girls, she said calmly. Issei. Yes, I think you're right, he said calmly. Gustav. Issei, you're lucky to have Cortana, the fantasy of many over time, he said amused. Bill. Well, we'll see that later. Now, let's go back home, okay? He said, walking to the helicopter, followed by Anaya. 1 week later. During that week the boys were relaxed, but on the other hand the factions were tense since Rizavam sent a statement demanding the control of all the factions or else everyone would die. Far from the city of Lilith. Rizavam was with a blonde girl leading an immense army of different supernatural beings and dark dragons, but the most notable was a giant red dragon. Rizavam. It's time to show them who their superiors are. Earth's atmosphere. It's time to show them who is a superior race. Or in the underworld. The boys were resting after their big battle, but the atmosphere was not calm, it was tense. Riaz. Yes, I'll go right away, everyone is already there, she said with a trembling and worried voice. Issei. Riaz, what's wrong, she said worried about the redeed. Riaz. Rizavam and the Cows Brigade are attacking the underworld, all factions are sending their armies to war, she said worriedly. Sona. Then we should go, she said worriedly while Athena and Gabriel nodded. Arturia. We are also supernatural beings, we will go to fight, she said it would be while Kuroka and Rainer nodded. Issei. So what are we waiting for, he said seriously. Gustav. We are the celestial dragons, and the Dragon King Vitra has to go, he said seriously. Samus. What happens if there is an attack? She said worriedly. Bill. Serena and Toka, they will take care of it, he said seriously. Serena. They are crazy, she said angrily. Toka. This war is everyone's problem, and we are also supernatural beings, she said it would be while summoning her armor. Issei. Okay girls, you stay here, we don't want anything to happen to you, he said seriously. Ari. But she couldn't continue because Issei interrupted her. Issei. But don't understand, we don't want you to get hurt. I know it will be a tough battle, but everything will be okay, he said seriously while all the girls nodded sadly. Riaz. We have to go. Underworld. The underworld was a battlefield, literally everything was destruction. Rizavam. Tell me how it feels that your death is near, said the albino holding Surzich by the neck. Surzich knew you'll never get away with this, he said with difficulty. Rizavam. Wow, you really are admirable, even on the verge of death you say such stupid things. He couldn't continue because someone hit him, sending him flying. Issei, leave my brother-in-law alone, he said seriously. The entire battlefield stopped at the appearance of the gamers. Ria's guys are okay, she said while going with her entourage just like Sona. Akeno, I'm glad you're here, she said a little tired. Hiroka. Shirin, she said hugging her sister. Rizavam. But look who's here, the little player's here, there's no game here, but I'm happy that you're here as my friend, he said with a smile. Hello little brother, it's been a while, hasn't it? Said a blonde girl with a golden glove and a purple gem mockingly. Gustav. Sister, he said in shock. Elizabeth. Wow, you could recognize me, but I think you don't know my partner, Trihixa, she said, raising her gauntlet. Trihixa. So you are that brat that my bear wishes to destroy, he said in a voice from beyond the grave. Gustav. Then the premonitions were true, the Trihixa is Lee. He couldn't continue because his sister attacked him with force. Gamers, Gustav, they shouted worried. Rizavam. Let's continue with this dance, he said amused. Issei. Guys, we need to turn this around, he said worriedly. Serena. Let me have Rizavam go help Gustav, she said it would be while the brown-haired boy was serious. Bill. I will go against the evil dragons, he said seriously. Toka. I will support you, let's go, she said seriously. Thus the war resumed with the gamers giving a slight advantage to the factions. Gustav. You think I'll die without fighting, don't even think about it, Albion, he said seriously. Albion. Valician Dragon Divine Dividing Balance Breaker Scalemate, his voice resonated loudly, activating the armor. The blue-haired man hit hard, making the blonde retreat. Elizabeth. Your armor is very pretty. What do you think of mine? She said it would be. Trihixa. Infernus Imperial Dragon Gear Balance Breaker Scalemate, his voice resonated, activating his armor. Gustav. It's a bucking joke, he said in shock, feeling the power of the blonde. Elizabeth. Let's continue, she said amused. Both began an exchange of blows where the advantage for the Trihixa cover was more than clear. Elizabeth. You like it, come on, answer. She couldn't continue because Issei hit her with his armor, sending her far away. Issei. Remember, we are two celestial dragons, he said seriously. Gustav. No, don't interfere, this is personal, he said, regenerating his armor. Issei. Stop messing around, I'll kill you, he said seriously. Gustav. Issei, I need answers, let me do it, he said seriously. Issei. But this is not time. He couldn't continue because Elizabeth hit the retreat. Elizabeth. You may continue, she said mockingly. Gustav. I'll do this all day, he said, resuming the fight. But the others. Bill had each evil Drago on the sidelines by grabbing a combination of his sacred gear and his jutsus. Bill, let's go. Fourth door of pain liberation, he said, releasing more power. Vitra. Remember that if you release too much of that power your life could be in danger, he said seriously. Bill. Don't worry, I've got it covered. But Serene. Rizavam. How is it possible that a brat is my equal, he said, frustrated, having a tough fight against a blonde. Serena. This is more because my sacred gear is the purest and that in battle gives me the advantage against a demon, she said it would be. Rizavam. This is not possible, he said, frustrated. Serena. It's time to turn this around. Balance breaker, she said, forcefully, starting to shine. Everyone looked at that unparalleled brilliance, leaving everyone more than surprised. Michael. That is the glow of hope, the glow of the purest being, he said in amazement. To my allies, regardless of their origin, as long as they are covered by my glow, I bring them health and strength, said a silver-haired girl. Toka. Wow, that's a power increase, she said, continuing her fight against Cao. Back with the boys. Issei. Drake activates the Cardinal Crimson, he said seriously. No, you two alone will never be able to defeat her, said a gothic loli. Drake. Ouroboros' office. Gustav. Because why are you doing this, he screamed sadly. Elizabeth. Because it's very easy. You took everything from me. You took away all of my mom and dad's love, the opportunity to become the head of the family. If you had never been born I would be happy because I would not have committed the sin of falling in love with my own brother either, she screamed furiously while slamming the boy's head against the floor. Gustav. What are you talking about? He said with difficulty. Elizabeth. What you heard. In spite of everything I never hated you because the obstacle didn't matter, you overcome it and that made me see you as a man and not even as my brother, someone who had to be mine, and that's why I made everyone hate you and despise you, so when you were alone you'd be mine, but those damn games came and ruined everything. That's why I won't be happy until I kill you, she screamed with a tearful and broken voice. Gustav. Poe, because you never told me. I never cared about the family business, even all of dad's shares are in your name, I had other plans for my future, he said sadly. Elizabeth. That doesn't matter now, I'm dead. She couldn't continue because a girl hit her. Issei. Gustav, come with me, he said, taking the boy. Gustav, Issei, what are you doing? Who is she? He said with difficulty. Greg. It's Ouroboros' office, the dragon goddess of infinity. She will distract the girls so they confuse, he said seriously. Gustav. What the hell are you talking about? I'll stop her on my own, he said seriously. Issei. Stop behaving like an idiot, he said while hitting the boy. Greg. Leave your damn pride aside, don't you see that even with all your power, you won't be able to kill her, he said angrily. Albion. They are right, if you want to free your sister we must merge, he said seriously. Gustav. What are you talking about? He said incredulously. Albion. Your sister's madness arises from the negative energy of the Trihexa, so don't waste any more time and fuse, he said seriously. Gustav. Let's do it. Elizabeth. Ouroboros, this is none of your business, get out, she said, giving him a strong blow sending him flying. I'm ready, he said appearing in front of the blonde. Elizabeth. Wow, you had to resort to that stupid technique, she said with displeasure. Issei. Hey, stop talking, I want to fight, he said furiously. Both began a great battle, the fusion in SSJ, and with the wings and the gauntlet activated and the girl with her balance breaker. Elizabeth. More Trihexa, give me more power, she said furiously. Issei. We must stop her or her life will be in danger, he said seriously, launching a lot of attacks. Greg. Use your soul punisher on the glove, he said seriously. Albion. Thus the power will consume the darkest soul, that of the Trihexa, he said seriously. Issei. Here they are, he said, starting to run against her. Elizabeth. They won't stop me, she said in a deranged manner. Issei. I think so, he said appearing at his side, hitting his attack on the glove. Trihexa. What is this new ooh, screamed as the glove disappeared. Issei. We did it, he said while holding the girl's body. Greg. There are still some members of the Chaos Brigade left, he said seriously. Issei. Well, let's finish this, he said raising his hand and launching an endless number of Kai blasts, attacking all the remaining enemies. Toka. It's over, she said relieved. Azazel. If it weren't for the boys we wouldn't have won, he said holding his artificial hand. Zeus. The supernatural world is in their debt, he said while other leaders nodded. The already unfused boys met up with the others. Rias. Guys are okay, she said seeing the boys somewhat hurt. Issei. Yes, we are fine even though this nightmare is over, he said looking at the redeed. Bill. And what will you do with your sister, he said looking at the blue-haired boy. Gustav. I will talk to her and my parents, he said a little sadly looking at his unconscious sister. Sona. Issei, this is serious, she said worried. Issei. Sona, what's wrong, he said confused. Before he could answer, a giant screen appeared in the sky of the underworld. It's time for the final battle where your world will be at stake, ha 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 ha. The end begins. Everyone was petrified after what the hooded man said. This is not a game, this is an invasion, he said madly. Issei. But why do we still have 2 lives, he said incredulously. Ah, lives never mattered, I only did it for fun, they were always doomed, he said mockingly. Bill. This must be a bucking joke, he said furiously. You must have seen their faces and really thought you had a chance, he said, almost laughing. Serena. No matter what we did, our destiny was death, she said falling to her knees. I even knew that they would have a war in the supernatural, and I would take advantage of the moment to attack, he said amused. Toka. You had it all planned, damn it, she said angrily. If I only moved my pieces to have a guaranteed victory, he said calmly. Gustav. No matter what you plan, we will stop you, he said seriously. Do you really believe that? I have troops and power. You are just simple brats with nothing special, he said seriously. Issei. That's not true, during all this time we have defeated you, he said determinedly. Really don't make me laugh when this clock reaches 0, your world will fall, said while a stopwatch ended the transmission. Everyone panicked because they thought the end was near. Issei. Leaders know where the location of that ship is, he said annoyed. Michael. They located it in La Pampa in Argentina, it's a plane, he said worriedly. Serena. In my country, she said worriedly. Issei. What are you waiting for? We should go, he said seriously. Rias. Issei, wait, they are not in condition, she said nervously. Issei. It is our duty, he said tiredly. Rias. No, you must not rest, I know that a solution can be found, she said nervously and on the verge of tears with Karoka. Sonagi Gil is your future wife, I demand that you stay, she said with a broken voice while Arturia. Bill. You know that we are the only ones who can stop him, he said seriously. Gustav. They know we have to go, he said looking at Athena and Rainer. Athena. We know, and we also know that we can't do anything to change your mind. Rainer. We just promise that you will return, said the fall. Baroka Arturia Issei Gil, you too, they said in unison. Razor. I think you need this, he said giving them some jars with phoenix tears. The 5 boys used their tears and recovered and were ready for battle. Gustav. Athena takes care of her, he said, giving her to his sister. Serena. Guys, the circle is ready, she said it would be. Riaz. Issei, come back safely, do it for our son, she said in a whisper. Before the boys could answer, they were transported to the scene of the battle. Surzich. They are our only hope. The Argentine Pampas. In a very beautiful plain, a large ship was in the sky. Who would say that such a beautiful landscape would become a battlefield? 1:39 and 40 seconds. Issei. This is about to start, there is 1 hour left, he said seriously. Bill. Issei, look, he said nervously, pointing at the ship. The ship began to create different creatures from different games, but these were Miles. Issei. They are Fortnite creatures, he said seriously. Gustav. They are Call of Duty zombies, he said seriously. Bill. I also see player zombies, he said seriously. Serena. I see zombies and other Minecraft mobs, she said nervously. Thoka. There are also resident lickers and zombies, she said nervously. Issei. This will be a massacre, he said worriedly. Gustav. Not all of them, he said seriously, pointing to some specific points. Issei. They are Overwatch characters, he said nervously. Bill. Guys, Bayonetta is here, he said nervously. Serena. Over there I see different Pokemon, she said, seeing one or another legendary. Thoka. This must be a bucking joke, that's the London Monitor and the MAWLR, she said scared. Issei. Well, we are 5 against almost 2 million enemies with bosses, plus what awaits us inside, he said with a heavy sigh. At that moment the ship filled the boys' side with different weapons from each game. Bill. He's a son of a hitch who makes fun of us, he said angrily. At that moment a large flash formed behind the boys, and after a few seconds all the girls could be seen with Digimons, Bakugans and weapons. Issei. What are you doing here? He said nervously. Ari. You said that the war in the underworld was none of our business, but that's why we came to fight, she said it would be, while everyone nodded. Gustav. But he couldn't continue because Jill interrupted him. Jill. But nothing, besides I'm specialized in killing those bastards, she said, pointing at the lickers and zombies in her game. Serena. Well, our chances increase, she said, drawing her lol bear, transforming it into a giant bear. Gustav. Wait, I have an idea, let me, he said, entering a portal. Albion. What are you planning? He said seriously. Gustav. You'll see as long as I create a communication circle and contact Sona, he said seriously. 0:57 and 46 seconds. Everyone looked at the clock as it went down. Sona. Gustav, what's wrong, she said nervously. Gustav. Sona, tell me, are there still people with magical energy to create large transportation circles? He said nervously. Sona. Yes, because she said nervously. Gustav. Perfect, send them to these locations and tell them that when there are 4 minutes left, they should create another one that will take them to the battle site, understood, he said seriously. Sona. Understood, she said nervously, closing the communication circle. Albion. Do you think it will work? He said seriously. Gustav. It will work. People in both the human and supernatural worlds were hugged and prayed in what seemed like the end of the world. The Argentine Pampas. 0:04 and 20 seconds. Issei. Where is Gustav, he said nervously. They should give up, they will only find death, even one of their friends has already abandoned them, he said mockingly. 0:04. Gustav. Issei is ready, he said through a communicator. At that moment several magic circles appeared where a lot of people appeared, some known to the boys. Issei. Gustav, what does this mean? He said incredulously. The EGETTA 777. Gustav had the idea that if they had their army, why don't we, said the Spanish YouTuber. El Rabiasum gets true and we have all decided to protect the planet with him, said the most famous YouTuber in Spain. Ninja. It's time for us to help with whatever little we can, said the best of Fortnite. Bolito. We are also gamers and this concerns us all, he said it would be. Thus, different YouTubers and professional gamers, among others, took weapons from different games. Issei. Thank you for helping us, he said gratefully. Ewillarex, this will be all or nothing, are you ready, he said seriously. Issei. This will be the biggest battle we've ever had, but today we'll give our all for our family, for our planet. Today we'll teach the entire universe a lesson. With the Earth, nobody gets involved. If we fall, we get up and keep fighting. If we see someone in danger, we help them. If the enemy seems invincible, we'll find their weak point because we are. All gamers. Clash of Worlds. All the gamers started running against the video games while the video games did the same. Issei. Let's go, he said, rising in the air and starting to fight against Bayonetta. Bayonetta. Oh, but what a handsome boy, and I can feel your dragon essence, she said flirtatiously, trying to connect one of her shots. Issei. Calm down, doll, I'm not an easy prey, he said defiantly, dodging the attacks. Bayonetta. Let's play, little dragon. But the blue-haired one. Gustav. I must be crazy, he said while looking at the MAWLR. Albion. What can I say, but there's nothing like a new challenge, he said, amused. Gustav. Well, let's write that thing down. But the blonde and purple-haired. Serena. Can you explain to me how we ended up facing the Overwatch characters? She said while fighting with Mei and dodging Hanzo's arrows. Toka. I don't know, maybe because we let Folliger use the Pokemon with the girls to face the rival Pokemon, she said calmly while dodging Bastion and Widowmaker's shots. Serena. Haha, yes, it is true because we have to show them how op we are. But the purple-haired one. Bill Vitra somehow drained the energy from the London monitor, he said curiously while dodging some attacks from the machine. Vitra. Sure, just connect your whips to the energy capacitors that are in your legs, he said seriously. Bill. Let's do it. Thus, the gamer teams faced the most difficult enemies to leave the path clear for the others to finish off the armies. Minecraft. Vegeta commanded the gamers, destroying any mob that stood in front of him. Pargan. It's not for nothing that you are the god of Minecraft, he said mockingly while finishing off several zombies. Jesus Siren. In Minecraft, no one compares to him, he said calmly. The LYAS 360. Focus guys, some Endermen are coming, he said seriously. Vegeta. Come on, Fargan, back, cover us, oh. Resident Evil. Rubius. Come on guys, I can do this as long as I don't get a bucking liquor, he said while killing zombies with others. At that moment a liquor was going after him, but someone blew his head off with a shotgun. Rubius. Damn, what a scare, Mangel, he said, seeing his friend with a shotgun. Mangel always behind your back, he said happily. Rubius. Let's go get those sons of hitches. High of duty. Stax, come on, get them, said the boy shooting while leading the call battalion. Refk. Do you mind if I join in the fun? He said while shooting at one or the other. Stax, sure, let's finish them off. Fortnite. The largest number of gamers swept the floor with the largest army, which was that of the Fortnite zombies. Wilrex. Let's go catch them, he said with a minigun. Belita. Come on, don't leave anyone alive, she said with a scar. Ninja. This is crazy, said using a rocket launcher. At that moment a large zombie was going against the ninja. Belita. Damn, be careful, he said worriedly. Bang. The sniper shot hit the zombie, killing it instantly. Phew. Calm down, I'm here. So everyone watched the violent war for survival with hope, and everyone had complete faith in the boys. Damn, those brats could tip the scales in their favor, he said furiously. Sir, if you defeat the original group, the hopes of the world and your army will fall, said one of his deer. If I have to lure them to the ship. Back to battle. Serena. This is over, she said, seeing all her rivals knocked down without any movement. Toka. If we are going to help the others, she said as she was about to leave. Widowmaker. Please don't make us go back, she said weakly. Toka. What are you talking about? She said confused. Widowmaker. It's hell. Bill. Get out below, he said calmly as he watched the robot fall and break into pieces. Vitra. We've done it now for the next opponent, he said seriously. Bill. Onward like those from Alicante. Gustav. This is bothering me, he said annoyed while launching several attacks at the large machine causing great damage. Albion. Use the final flash, he said seriously. Gustav. Okay, final flash, he said throwing a powerful beam that went directly against two legs, destroying them completely. The machine then went headlong and crashed into the ground. Gustav. Good idea, Albion, now let's help the others. So we went on to see how Issei continued to battle furiously against Bayonetta. Bayonetta. Apart from being handsome, he is very strong and powerful, just how I like him, she said, without removing her flirtatious tone. Issei. I must admit that you are also very strong, he said happily as he separated himself a little. Bayonetta. You know something, you're the first person to use my maximum strength, she said while summoning a large giant creature. Bayonetta. Shiva, the queen of hell, she said it would be. Issei. Wow, this is something else, he said in amazement. Bayonetta. What do you think if she couldn't continue because a ray from the ship hit her? Issei. Bayonetta said flying at high speed catching her before falling. Bayonetta. No, I can't believe my life ends this way, she said something sad. Issei. Don't worry, we can help you, he said, moving away from the field. Bayonetta. Why are you doing this for me? She said weakly. Issei. Easy, one of the most iconic women in video games can't die here, not today, he said calmly, taking out a phoenix tear by pouring it on her. Bayonetta, thanks, she said impressed to see her healed wound. Issei. Well, go hide, find a safe place, he said seriously. Bayonetta. I will not fight alongside you, she said determinedly. Brats, my army will have no end until you defeat me, he said seriously while a gate opened. Bill. Issei said appearing with his companions while Gustav brought Widowmaker. Issei. Guys, this is a clear invitation to fight him alone, he said seriously. Gustav. We must go, the others will not last long fighting against them, he said seriously. Bayonetta. See, you're the only ones who can stop him, she said it would be. Widowmaker. We will help you, hurry up, she said, putting on her visor and loading her sniper. So the boys took flight while the two women began to help the others. Issei. Come in guys, he said, entering. Serena. What a strange place, she said, looking at a dark hallway. Issei. Come on, don't lose, he couldn't continue because several walls were placed dividing the boys. Thoka. Guys, she said nervously. Bill. Guys, you've met someone, he said curiously. Gamers know, they said in unison. Issei. It's more than clear what he did, right? He said seriously. Gustav. It's more than obvious, he said seriously. Gamers. Divide and conquer. Looking for the next level. The boys were divided as they walked through a dark hallway inside the ship while a large battle continued outside. Serena. How I hate horror games, I hate them, she said scared, lighting up with her tiara. In the hallway you could only see some strange scratches on the walls. Serena. How strange, they look like claws of a, she couldn't continue because something breathed next to her. Serena looked up seeing a velociraptor. Serena. Dinosaur. Thoka. The purple-haired girl walked down her path seeing balloons and birthday hats, and a strange smell was familiar to her. Thoka. Whatever is here better come out and fight, she said determinedly. The silence remained, nothing seemed to be there, so she continued on her way until something was in front of her. Thoka. Pizza. Hongil. He was just staring at the endless dark hallway in front of him when a powerful smell reached him. Bill. This is blood, he said, covering his mouth while he could see red stains on the walls. Help please, said a voice as footsteps approached him. Bill looked and could see a blonde woman in a pink dress with some blood stains. Bill. Princess Peach said in disbelief seeing Mario's princess in that place. Peach. Please help me, that thing killed everyone, she said terrified. Bill. Who has he couldn't continue because it sounded like something was dragging. Peach, he found us, she said scared. Bill. Behind me, Vitra, he said seriously while Vitra manifests on his arm. Vitra. Ready, mate, he said seriously. After a few seconds he could see a strange humanoid being with a triangular thing on its head. Bill Pyramid Head. On Gustav. The boy was upset as he walked down his hallway. Gustav. Hey, could you put some light on, he said seriously. At that moment the lights came on, revealing some cells, although most were empty. Gustav. Thank you, he said continuing his walk. Please help us, said a voice from the cells. The blue-haired man began to walk to the cell where the voice was heard, finding a woman and a girl. Please help us, we don't want to die, she said scared while the girl hugged her. Gustav. Kara, Alice from Detroit, he said surprised. Kara. Wow, how do you know our names, she said confused. Gustav. It's a long story but tell me what happened to the others, said CEO. Kara. We don't know, many of us refused to destroy their world and they locked us up here and in the end we were left, she said nervously and sadly. Gustav. I see, well, get away as far as you can, he said seriously. Kara. Be careful, screamed scared. Gustav managed to dodge a blow from a fat creepy-looking creature. Gustav. Hola Chris Walker. With Issei. Our protagonist ran quickly through the corridor until he could see how he arrived at a central base. Issei. What the hell does he have in store for us this time? He said seriously. Greg. Calm down buddy, just stay alert, he said seriously. Issei. Yes, I know. I wonder how the others will do, he said curiously. Greg. Don't worry, they know how to take care of themselves on your left, he said desperately. Issei jumped back slightly, dodging a strange black thing. Issei. Seriously, this must be a damn joke, he said seriously, summoning his gauntlet. Greg. What the heck is that, he said confused. Issei. It's a xenomorph. While the boys began their battles outside in the war. We see Vegeta somewhat in a hurry facing several enemies, putting them against the ropes. Exosi. We must help Vegeta, he said seriously. Arcelex, kill them, said the boy in a hurry. Vegeta was about to be attacked by a spider, but a sword pierced it. Vegeta. But my goodness Willy, what are you doing here, mate? He said, seeing Rex with Luzu and ALEXBY11. Will Rex. Come on Vegeta, we will never forget what made us popular, he said helping his friend like that. Stax. Come on Vegeta, ready for the next assault, he said holding his shoulder. Vegeta. Vengapur Carmeland. Windijerk. Rubius, don't be bad. Note. Sorry I couldn't help it XD. The battles became more intense and the boys began to tire. Bayonetta. We must help as much as we can, I know the boys will soon defeat them, he said seriously. Widowmaker. I know, but we must see that those who fall are evacuated to avoid being killed, she said it would be. Back with the gamers. Toka. We can see the purple-haired wing next to a pile of robotic pieces, while at the tip of his sword was Freddy's head. Toka. And that's what they get for messing with me, she said angrily. On Gustav. The boy was sitting on the floor while the fat man was decapitated on the floor. Albion. Good job, buddy, he said calmly as the boy's armor disappeared. Gustav. So that you come back, bastard, I still remember all the trouble you made me go through in Outlast, he said tiredly. Albion. We must free the girl, he said seriously. Gustav. Yes, of course, he said approaching the cell and knocking on the door, breaking it down. Hara. Thank you, she said leaving the place. Gustav. Look, I know you have nowhere to go, so I'll transport you to my house so you're safe, he said calmly, creating a magic circle. Hara. Thank you very much. Hongil. He continued to dodge Pyramid's attacks while holding him with one of his whips. Bill. Princess Peach, I need your help. I want you to hold his sword and place it in front of him, he said seriously. Peach. No, please no, she said scared. Bill. I know it's difficult and I know you're scared, but do it for all of them who died and you couldn't help them, he said seriously. Peach, with all the courage he could muster, placed Pyramid's sword in front of him. Bill. Goodbye, he said seriously, giving the enemy a tug, causing him to trip and fall hard against the sword, piercing his neck. Peach. Yes, I'm done, she said starting to cry. Bill. Okay, calm down, everything is fine, he said while hugging her to calm her down. But Serena. Serena. I don't like being surprised out of nowhere, Buaya, she said crying in front of a pile of dinosaur corpses. But Issei. He continued to dodge the Xenomorph's attacks. Issei. Damn, I can't use Ascalon because his blood is like a powerful acid, he said angrily as he threw the alien away again. Greg. Use the cannons, but when it's close, he said seriously. Issei just nodded while making a sign for the alien to attack him, which annoyed the alien who began to run. Issei. You fell, he said launching a powerful attack that disintegrated the alien. So another path opened up as the boy followed it and after a few seconds there were 5 more paths, but 4 of them heard footsteps. Issei. Guy said watching how his companion saved Gil who appeared with the princess. Serena. Guys, I'm glad I found you, she said relieved. Issei. It's good that you're okay, we should continue, he said, pointing to the only free path. Bill. Wait, let me send Peach to the house, he said seriously. Gustav. Okay, but when you go you will meet a girl, he said seriously while the princess nodded and left. Issei. It's time for the final fight, he said seriously. The boys began to walk seriously as they looked at a large stage that seemed like a void while they looked at the hooded being on a throne. Issei. It's over, give up T, he said seriously. Oh little brats, this is just about to begin, he said seriously taking off his hood. Gamers Taboo. Battle to survive. The boys looked in shock at the being in front of them. Issei. Wow, it will be difficult, he said, activating his balance breaker. Gustav. It's a shame that no one has Sonic's abilities, he said mockingly while imitating Issei. Bill. Let's see how complicated a taboo will be in real life, he said seriously. Serena. No matter who it is, we will beat him, she said taking out her own balance. Toka. As long as we are united, nothing will defeat us, she said showing her sword, and the boys nodded. Taboo. If you want, we'll play, he said, showing 2 pairs of hands. Issei. Master hand, he said seriously. Taboo. For them, he said while the hands attacked the boys. The boys sat down trying to dodge the attacks from the hands. Toka. I kicked their asses before and this won't change now, she said throwing Cortez into her hands. Gustav. Issei, take care of Taboo, he said stopping a hand with his whole body. Issei. What are you talking about, he said confused. Bill. It's not obvious that we will stop these stupid hands, he said holding her with his own whips. Serena. We agree, she said determinedly while the purple-haired girl nodded. Issei just smiled, summoning his wings to launch an attack against Taboo. Taboo. You want to face me, come on Brad, he said seriously. Thus, both began to clash, giving rise to an exchange of blows at high speed. Greg. What are you doing, he said seriously. Issei. What are you talking about, he said curiously. Greg. He's holding back, if you don't attack now he'll annihilate us when you get tired, he said seriously. Issei. Okay, I'll give it my all, he began to scream, releasing an enormous amount of power, while the armor began to shine and turn golden, while retaining the green gems. Issei Drag Welsh Dragon Booster Gear Say and Get Mail, they said both with their new armor. Taboo. Wow, you were able to combine your power with what he couldn't continue because he received a strong blow that sent him flying. Issei. I don't want to chat, I want to fight. But the rest of the gamers. The 4 of them were engaged in a somewhat close battle against the hands. Serena. Gustav, can I ask you a favor? she said curiously as she continued hitting her hand. Gustav. Well, could you wait a little? He said seriously, waving his hand away. Serena. Yes, but it's not just a little thing, she said nervously. Gustav. Well, that's it, he said seriously. Serena. You would give me away at the altar, she said nervously. Gustav. You're getting married, who's the groom, he said confused. Serena. It's Kibakun, she said nervously. Gustav. The Gremory Knight, he said incredulously. Serena. Yes, we have been dating for months and knowing about the war, he asked me to marry him, and I said yes, she said nervously. Gustav. Oh okay, I'll hand you over at the altar, he said blushing. Serena. Thank you. Dokagi Gil, could you help me with a problem, she said nervously. Bill. What a thing, he said trying to pay attention without being hurt by the hands. Toka. Boo, well, how would I tell the boys that I'm different, she said nervously. Bill. What are you talking about, he said confused. Toka. Well, what happens is that I have different tastes, she said nervously. Bill. Just say it, we are all friends, you are not afraid to say it, just say it, he said calmly. Toka. I'm a lesbian, she said nervously, leaving the boy in shock. Bill. Lesbian teaches she couldn't continue because the hand hit her hard. Toka. Gil worried scream. Bill. Don't interfere, he said, hitting his hand with great ferocity. Toka. Gil, are you okay, she said nervously. Bill. Calm down, I'm fine, now when all this is over, you'll be able to tell the others about this without fear, okay, he said happily. Toka. Okay. Issei continued the great fight against Abu, who could not retreat from the attacks of the dragon, who did not seem to continue maintaining the pressure. Abu. My turn, he said spreading his wings. Issei tried to counterattack but couldn't react to the speed of the being who began to hit very brutally. Abu. This shows that you and those brats are little insects that will never be able to stand against my immense power, he said, slamming Issei against a wall. Issei. No, I won't let you humiliate me and insult my friends, he said angrily trying to land a punch, but Tabu grabbed him by the neck. Tabu. Would you like to repeat it for me? He said, squeezing the boy's neck much harder. Issei. No, let leave that he couldn't continue because she hit him in the stomach. Tabu. How try he couldn't continue because he was hit hard. Bill. Don't forget it, damn it, there are 5 of us, he said, giving him a strong blow, sending him flying. Serena. Come on Issei, wake up, it's not time to sleep, she said, trying to make the Redeed react. Gustav. Gil, what do you think if we continue with the Issei fight? He said regenerating his armor. Bill. Go ahead, he said launching into the attack. So the two began to fight with everything, putting the being in a difficult position, despite having the advantage, the numerical superiority was more than clear. Toka. Come on Issei, wake up, she said slapping him. Issei. What happened where I am, he said nervously. Serena. Come on, we have to continue with this fight, we already defeated the hand, she said while lifting the boy. Issei. Yes, let's go, he said recovering his armor. Tabu. Damn brats, I'll show you who your king is, he said releasing a huge shock wave. Issei. And you will understand that none of the people or races that are in this world are inferior to you, he said, putting his hands in a position known to everyone. Issei. Came hame, he said charging his attack while the armor also created its cannons about to fire. Gustav. Here we go, final flash, he said putting his hands together. Bill. Let's finish this, he said raising his hands charging the sphere of energy. Serena. Lunar force in action, she said moving her scepter. Toka. Sandalph and Halvantilev, he said transforming his sword into something much bigger. Thus the 5 boys launched a powerful attack that hit Tabu squarely. Tabu. How can I be defeated by simple children, he said exploding into particles. Issei. You finished it, we did it, he said happily while the boys celebrated. Gustav. No, this is not over, he said nervously. Bill. Old man, what are you talking about? He said confused. Toka. If Gustav doesn't see that there is nothing left, she said calmly. Gustav. No, don't look at it because the ship didn't start to destroy itself or something like that, he said seriously. All the boys looked around seeing that this was true, this began to worry the boys until Issei saw something. Issei. What is that? He said confused seeing 2 giant spheres. At that moment the spheres opened up revealing rather large bodies. Issei impossible. Last level, let's seek victory. The boys quickly stood on guard as both spheres looked at each other and then began to attack in different ways. Issei. Damn, why are there 2 of them? He said dodging the attacks. Bill. I don't know, but we have to finish them off, he said, taking a big leap and dealing several blows to Gallum. Gustav. I got it, he said launching several attacks. Toka. What are you talking about? She said nervously. Gustav. They are the 2 personalities of the hooded man, he said nervously dodging some spheres of light. Issei. I mean, his good and bad side he said curiously hitting Darkin. Gustav. That's his darkened side, it was his desire to see us destroyed and conquer our world, while Gallum was his benevolent side that gave us the powers and made this war more equal he said seriously. Issei. I see, but we still have to stop he couldn't continue because the spheres changed their shape because of two beings known to the boys. Bill. Trihixa said looking at the dragon. Gustav. Boser he said seriously. Issei. Guys with everything he said seriously going against the Trihixa. Bill. Gustav go with Issei we will take care of Boser he said seriously. So they began to fight against their respective rivals while the entire ship shook. Gustav. Issei he said throwing an earring. Issei. Let's do it he said putting it on. Serena. They already have an advantage she said watching Issei fighting with the Trihixa. Bill. Let's show them that we are not below the eighth door, the door of death, liberation he said furiously, releasing everything. Thoka. It will be life or death she said starting to shine as her armor began to change and a second sword emerged. Serena. I'm also a gamer and I'll give it everything she said determinedly releasing gigantic wings with a new outfit. Ooh. Strong explosions came and went, the forms that the beings took were stronger than the originals, but this did not seem to matter to the gamers who did not stop their attacks, managing to corner the two. Serena. The bad thing is that we don't know how much life they have left she said hitting Mario's boss repeatedly. Thoka. Let's not pay attention to that, we just have to keep attacking she said furiously throwing out multiple polite ones. The attack seemed to cause great damage to Gallum, who did not seem to return to his original form. Issei. Let's finish with he couldn't continue because Darkin returned to his original form and unleashed a powerful shockwave. Dralbian boy combines all the power of the sacred gear and releases a new form, said a voice that seemed like a mix of the two celestials. Issei. Understood the power they released was terrifying so much that it began to tremble throughout the world and the factions. Riaz. Issei, I hope everything goes well she said, holding her belly. Issei. The power reached the limit so that afterwards a powerful glow could be seen and a totally different armor could be seen from the balance breaker. Dralbian. Diabolo's dragon he said seriously. Serena his power is beastly she said in shock. Bill. With this he will defeat them, I'm sure he said a little tired. Issei. Let's play a little he said moving at high speed hitting the ice sphere who tried to use its limbs to defend itself but it was useless since the fusion was much faster. Issei. Take this final dragon Kamehameha he said, launching a powerful attack at Gallum who came to help his counterpart. Issei. Let's end the darkness couldn't finish because the fusion ended and they both separated. Issei. But what he couldn't continue because Darkin took advantage and hit them with one of his limbs, sending them to the bottom. Aimer. Guys they shouted worriedly. Issei. What would happen he said trying to get up. Gustav. I think the same thing happened to us as to Goku and Vegeta against Zamasu, the Potara was overloaded he said hurt. Thoka. Be careful she said worriedly. The boys were unable to dodge an attack from Gallum in the form of drills. Issei Gustav. The attack hit them full force, hurting them more than they already were. Bill. Don't you dare, damn it he said jumping and connecting a kick to the being of light that changed his attention to him. Serena. It's my turn she said hitting Darkin. Thoka. Gil, you can face him alone he said nervously. Bill. Yes you go help Serena he said continuing his attack. Issei. I have to keep going, I won't lose this battle he said in pain. Gustav. You don't have to say it twice, come on, Issei, we have to win, but under one condition he said seriously. Issei. What thing he said curiously. Gustav. I will be your son's godfather with Riaz he said smiling as he ran towards Gallum. Issei. Wow how did you know he said incredulously. Greg. That doesn't matter, go fight he said nervously. Issei. You're right, let's go he said, summoning his golden armor. The boys began to increase the strength of their attacks, but at one point the limbs of both spheres disappeared and the spheres fell and the boys went to hit him. Issei. With everything he said firing with his cannons. Gustav. Without holding back he said furiously using his wings. Serena. Lunar tiara she said it would be. Thoka. Sandalphon said launching a powerful cut. Bill Vitra with everything he said throwing a powerful whip. The 5 attacks hit both spheres directly, causing them to disappear. Issei. Where are they? He said confused. At that moment 2 waves of energy appeared below and above them. Gustav how I hate that they do this he said furiously moving up and down to dodge the attacks. Thoka. Be careful she said watching how the spheres returned and launched a powerful attack together. Gamers. They screamed in great pain as none of them could dodge the attacks, causing great damage to the boys. After the powerful attack, the boys were left lying on the floor covered in wounds and with blood on different parts of their bodies. Serena. No, this can't end like this, she said in pain. Bill, everyone depends on us, he said weakly. Thoka. No, we are the ones chosen to protect this world, she said with frustration. Gustav. We must fight for all the gamers who are risking their lives to give us a chance. No, we must not fail them, he said helplessly. Issei. And not only that, I had to win for the people we love and who await our return, he said, trying to get up. The boys slowly began to get up with difficulty, but their gaze showed great determination as their power began to rise. Bill. As long as there is life in our bodies, he said seriously. Thoka. And our bodies can move, she said, holding her two swords. Gustav. We will continue fighting, he said seriously. Serena. And we will not rest, she said determinedly. Issei. Until I kill you, he said furiously. Gamers. For victory, they shouted with all their might, launching themselves into the attack. The five of them launched into the attack and began to launch combos together, from cuts to punches, ending with powerful energy beams. Alum and Darkin could do nothing to dodge them. They tried to counterattack, but it was useless. The boys masterfully dodged the attacks without hesitation. Issei. Let's finish them off, he said, starting to charge a powerful power. The other boys began to entertain the two spheres to try to buy time. Issei. Your biggest mistake was giving me Goku as a character, he said with a big smile. Greg. Do it, mate, you can do it, he said determinedly. Issei. I ask everyone in all factions to give me their energy, he said forcefully. Everyone around the world began to hear the brown-haired boy's voice as they looked around wondering where he was. Rias. Issei said from the underworld. Surzich. Yes, but I don't see it, he said looking at the screen. Issei. I know that everyone has felt the excitement of video games, whether from the first console that existed or from Nintendo, PS, Xbox, or even though I know that everyone has felt it, young and old, I ask you to remember that moment and raise your hand and give me your energy, he said forcefully. Everyone in every corner of every faction and the world listened to what the brown-haired boy said, and the first were the children, while the adults and teenagers watched as a light came out of their bodies. Milikas, when my parents bought me my first console, he said smiling. Kunu. When I defeated the Ender Dragon, she said happily. Tiba. My first victory in Fortnite, he said smiling. Azazel. When Mario 64 is finished, he said calmly. So everyone remembered the happiest moments they had with video games, and each one raised their hands. Issei. If that's it, let's all end this nightmare together and achieve peace, he said, seeing an incredible sphere of energy. Gustav. The energy has already been collected, throw it, he said seriously, while the others moved away. Issei. Die, he screamed furiously, throwing the powerful spirit weapon. The sphere collided fully with both beings, causing great damage to their bodies, but with their limbs, they began to push the sphere. Issei. No, I won't allow that, he said, trying to push the sphere, but it was useless. Serena. Come on, we're not going to let you do this alone, she said calmly, appearing with her companions. Issei. Guys, he said with joy. Gustav. Let's finish them off, he said seriously. Gamers. The five boys used all their combined strength to win the clash of strength. Boom. There was a loud explosion that blinded the boys for a few seconds until they were able to regain their sight. Issei. It's over, he said tiredly. Vip. The boys could see how the two spheres were damaged and began to shake, indicating that they were going to explode. Issei. We have to get out of here, he said nervously. Gustav. I don't think we can escape that easily, someone has to stay trying to stop the attack, he said nervously. Issei. Don't think twice, I'll do it, he said seriously. Gustav. No, you have to go, I will do it, he said seriously. Bill. Don't shut up, I'll do it, he said angrily, and all the gamers started arguing. Issei. You guys don't understand, right? He said as the five of them created a protective barrier. Gustav. Shut up and concentrate, he said seriously, while the five prepared for the imminent explosion. Serena. Guys, I know this is not the time to say this, but thanks for being my friends, she said with a slight blush. Thoka. If I also wanted to thank you, I wouldn't be who I am if it weren't for you, she said with a blush. Bill. It's time for sentimentality, well thanks for bringing me to this madness, and for all the fun and good times. Gustav. You know I'm not good with words, but thank you for being by my side, and I hope to continue this madness with you in the other world, he said calmly. Issei. Thanks guys for accompanying me on this adventure and never leaving me alone even in bad times, you were with me, thank you, he said with a big smile. Gamers. We are ready, they said decisively. The two were about to explode, but a flash caught everyone's attention. Gamers. Kirby, they said in unison, seeing the pink ball on their star. Issei. No Kirby, what are you doing, he said worried. Kirby approached both beings, and with the power of his star, he transported them both to another place. Issei. Kirby grit a shock. In space. Gustav. Georgia, we won, he said, falling to his knees and starting to cry with his friends. Issei. Yes, it's over, we won. Game over. Everyone on the battlefield and on the screens watched as the enemies began to disappear while the ship was slowly destroyed, falling into pieces. Rias. What's going on? She said, confused. At that moment they saw how in the air where the ship was, the gamers were seriously injured but still had enough power to stay in the air flying. Issei. Georgia, we win, screams at the top of his lungs, raising his fist. Everyone was in shock and then they shouted with happiness. People everywhere jumped, shouted, hugged each other and bleated at the wonderful news. The world had been saved by the 5 boys who, despite all adversity, stood up to save it. Quickly the gamers, YouTubers etc. went to help the boys who could no longer stand. Ria's Issei cry of happiness appearing at the place along with the other supernatural beings. Issei. Ria's girls, he said with joy as he saw his large harem in front of him. Ria's. I say you did it, Sniff, you saved us, said, crying with tears of happiness. Issei. No, it wasn't us, it was Kirby, he said, shedding tears at everyone's confusion. Surzich. Issei, what are you talking about, he said, confused. Gustav. We defeated the final enemy, but it was going to self-destruct to kill us. We took the risk and were ready to die, but Kirby appeared and took them away, saving us all by giving his life in exchange. He is our hero, he said, looking at the sky. Surzich. I see, now you must rest, you deserve it, he said calmly. Issei. Yes, I think that couldn't finish because someone spoke. Bayonetta. We can go with you, said the black-haired girl with Widowmaker. Issei. Sure, you're welcome. Thus time passed and peace was achieved in all worlds, in addition to the union being established between all worlds, and the coexistence between human and supernatural beings became practically normal. It should also be said that in all the capitals of the world and in the kingdoms of each faction, a statue of the greatest hero in history, Kirby, was placed. Now what happened to the gamers with the heroes who risked their lives? They were able to continue with their normal lives. Obviously they married their respective partners, including Toka, who told them her sexual tastes as well as her partner. But the last to get married was Issei, who was in front of all his girls dressed as brides, ready for what the brown-haired boy was about to say, while all the guests including his friends. Note. In the harems I needed girls that I didn't find with wedding dresses or similar. Michael. Issei, you accept all these girls in health, in sickness, in nobility and in poverty, until death do us part, he said seriously. Everyone stared, some nervously, others seriously and some mockingly, in addition to the girls who showed anguish, thinking that the brown-haired boy had retracted in the face of the silence that the brown-haired boy showed. Issei. I accept. 6 months later. Las Vegas, Nevada. We see a purple-haired man entering a casino while a large number of girls accompanied him. Sona. Gil, are you sure, she said, worried. Gil. Of course, he said with chips in his hand. Sona. But you're betting 500 million on red, she said nervously like her girls. Gil. When I win we will go for a trip wherever you want, no matter where, he said, watching the roulette wheel give a winner. Gil. Kuoh Academy. Buenos Aires, Argentina. In a fairly large flower shop called Moon Flower Shop, we see a boy working hard until the voice of a blonde caught his attention. Serena. How's the sale going? She said happily. Tiba. Honey, what are you doing up? You can't be moving around in your condition, he said, somewhat worried about his wife's condition. Serena. Calm down, I'll be fine, and if I don't help you, I'll feel useless, she said a little sadly. Tiba. It's okay, you can charge the customers, he said, giving up. Serena. Thank you, love. London, England. The car was going at high speed, while a blue-haired man remained immersed in his thoughts. Ring ring. Gustav. Hello, he said, taking out his phone. P. Gustav. We have a little problem, said his dad, somewhat nervously. Gustav. What's up, he said curiously. P. Gustav. Your mother made the little comment that it was time to have grandchildren because she says that even though you married Kara and Alice is her daughter, she wants more grandchildren, he said nervously. Gustav. I don't see any problem, he said without flinching. P. Gustav. Well, now the house is a battlefield and all the girls including your sister want to be the first to give you a child, he said nervously, while banging could be heard. Gustav. Calm down, I have a solution, gather everyone together, he said seriously. P. Gustav. And what do I tell them? He said nervously. Gustav. Mating season starts next week. Kuoh City, Japan. We can see the chestnut tree looking at the sky as the sun slowly set. Issei. Do you think it's okay? He said something sad. Greg. Yes, now he is in a better place, he said from the booster gear. Issei. All this, peace, tranquility, being happy with the girls, I owe it to him, we all owe it to him, he said with a slight smile. Greg. That's right, but stop thinking about it, live the life he gave you and carry him in your heart like he always wanted, he said in a calm voice. Issei. You're right, he couldn't continue because someone interrupted him. Ari. Issei quickly, Ria's water broke, she said alarmed. Issei. Seriously, he said incredulously. Greg. What are you waiting for? Run, he said seriously. Issei. I'm going to be a dad. In the vast universe we could see how a little pink ball slowly opened its eyes, seeing two beings, one with a mask and the other was a woman with blue eyes. Sona. Good job, Kirby, she said calmly, while the little one jumped with a big smile. Grift. Okay, little one, you can go back to your friends now, he said while he stretched out his hand and the little one became an extra. Sona. Now back to your friends, she said, placing it next to other figures. Sona. I think this line is finished, don't you think? She said seriously, looking at the one in the mask. Gustav. Of course, myself in this universe did well now that he enjoyed his life with his women, although something has me intrigued, he said curious. Sona. What a thing, she said confused. Gustav. The explosion that Kirby gave in space caused a Dxd universe to have alterations, he said curious. Sona. And that it was also related to video games, she said amused. Gustav. Yes, that's it, but there's more to it than that, he said seriously. Sona. What a thing, she said seriously. Gustav the anime. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day, bye.